This is WWE and ECW alumni, the Blue Meanie, and you're listening to PCW.
The question is, are you ready? Let me talk to you. I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can. What do you guys want to talk about? And the color red in a world full of black and white. I am the eater of worlds. Yeah, if you're some acknowledge me. The champ is here. But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here. Hey, yo. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. I am your host, Wayne, also known as Semi-Dry Chicken, and it is WrestleMania season. Alright, we are just days away. We are right in the middle of the butt crack right now. We are between Raw and SmackDown. That is the butt crack, which would be NXT. Right before the night of WrestleMania. We got the Hall of Fame. We got so much shit on our plate. It's just so much wrestling to take in this week. It's not just WWE. It's all over. And it's just too much to absorb. But I'm excited. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's bring them in.
I am main event Dre Uso, and I would like to formally inquire about Ricochet's fighting capabilities. Shout out to Samantha Irvin.
Oh, man. I will say I understood why you picked it. But man, I had all this energy. I was getting ready for the oos. But, you know what? We still got the post show.
Yeah, no, when that thing dropped, sweet 6 pound, 7 ounce baby Jesus.
All right. Speaking of sweet baby Jesus, let's bring him in.
Oh, it's me. It's a Doyle. And I thought on behalf of tax day, we'd go with a little IRS. Yeah, when your music played, I said, what the fuck is this? Now, I've watched that video about 700 times. I just listened to it.
Yeah, Dre,
As a song, it's not bad. It's actually a pretty dope song. It's kind of got like a old school R&B vibe to it. Almost a little bit of funk to it, too. Yeah, it's a good song. It's actually a really dope song.
The first time I watched it, I forgot to press record because I was distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, enough about tax day, enough about Samantha Irvin's ass. It's WrestleMania week. There's a lot going on, a lot to be excited about. But I think I don't just speak for myself, my co-host, and the entire WWE universe. But I think the biggest story of the week is the fact that the greatest quarterback of all time, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., might appear at WrestleMania. It's the biggest news I've ever heard, and I'm here for it.
I'm wondering what other
That guy that lost to
to
Nick Foles.
He's telling him McNabb.
Yeah, he did. Never got to break the tie.
No. Oh well. Yeah. What a non-story? A guy that is a partial owner of the building might be there. Like, okay, so what? Like,
right. What's he gonna do? If he ain't taking a bump, who cares?
Yeah. Right.
Give me 3 celebrities off the top of your head that you would see at WrestleMania this year. Just give me 3. Go.
On the show itself?
Yeah. No.
Or are we
Who's
talking
gonna
about
be just in the crowd, in the watching?
Oh, well,
Wale.
Yep. Give me 2 more.
Guarantee Wale. I wouldn't
Fluffy.
be surprised if who?
Fluffy, the fucking comedian.
Jelly Roll.
And everything.
Oh,
The fat-
no.
Oh yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah. Iglesias, Gabriel Iglesias? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Gabriel Iglesias, he could be there. Vanessa Hudgens could be there.
Yeah, she's always there. Adam
Maybe
Sandler?
a Culkin or 2.
Yes, dude. Kevin McCauley. Yeah, he's been at at the past 2 or 3 Raws, I think.
He's been at a few of them. I remember when they did show him on camera, maybe about a month ago or something like that when he was there. I will say, I was glad to see he got a huge pop.
Yeah.
When they showed him on camera.
Yeah, and his brother, who hadn't yet won his Oscar, but had just won the Golden Globe, was also there. No recognition for him.
Nope.
And there's a video of Punk coming up to him and goes, "Hey, didn't you just win some award?" And he's like, "Yeah, I won a Golden Globe last night."
That's fucking funny.
I actually just saw him on Broadway, Kieran Culkin. They're doing Glengarry Glen Ross. It was Kieran Culkin, Michael McKean, Bob Odenkirk, Bill Burr. It was a good time.
We'll probably see Adam Sandler there. Maybe some Jackass members.
The Sandman.
Yeah. Chalamet.
Probably some Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is there some that are
because I'm
pretty sure they got more than one that's wrestling fans.
What local acts are in Vegas right now that
Penn and Teller, Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, we're gonna see Carrot Top there maybe. You know, I don't know.
Wayne Newton.
Yeah. I want to see them all show up. You know.
Is Wayne Newton still alive? I don't know.
I don't know. All right. Well, guys,
I could see. You know what? I could see Tom Brady coming out as part of John Cena's entrance.
That'd be
I could see them trying to play off some sort of one goat to another type thing.
Oh, okay. And then you got the guys like me who don't watch football. Like, who the fuck is this guy coming out? And I got people leaning over having to explain it to me.
I think Tom Brady's one of those people that transcends the sport.
Yeah. I think if I saw Tom Brady, I'd recognize him.
There are people who ain't watched a lick of basketball a day in their life. They know Jordan when they see him.
Yeah, that's fucking true. Space Jam, right? All right, guys. This card, it's not as big as I thought it was. We got 7 matches night 1, 6 matches night 2. We're also, like I said, in the smack middle of the week. So it could change on Friday. I mean, that'd be crazy for them to make a match right the night before, right? But it's
Well, I
happened.
think we're going to get Randy Orton versus a mystery opponent.
Yeah, we will discuss that. Ooh, yes,
I hope they
yes.
keep it a mystery all the way to the show.
I do too.
Like, don't announce it. Just have a segment. He comes out there, flipping shit, whatever. Nick Aldis shows up, whatever, yada yada. Here's your opponent, and say his name, and he fucking appears.
No. You know what? It's not now. Actually, we'll talk about it right now because it's not on the card. It literally isn't written on the card. I mean, that could be a night 2 match to even out seven matches. Are you serious though? You think Joe Henry would be?
No, not seriously. I don't think they would serve up Joe Hendry to Randy Orton like that. He's too popular, and I mean, it'd be cool for like a cheap WrestleMania pop, but one, I don't see them putting any TNA people on WrestleMania.
You don't think like Orton comes out, gets fucking quiet, and just
say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe. Say his name and he.
No.
Dre said it. I mean, whoever it is going to get served up to Randy Orton, right?
Right.
So, like, there's a lot of talk about, maybe Aleister Black coming back.
Aleister Black, I hear a lot of. That's probably the most likely. Dude.
I think it's weird because WrestleMania Day 1 talked about it maybe being on Day 2.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania Day 1 falls on Rusev Day. But luckily, WrestleMania Day 2 also falls on Rusev Day. But you can't re-debut these guys and have them lose, right? Like,
exactly.
So I think they're out. I think they want us to think it's going to be Nick Aldis.
I just think.
But does that make any sense? Like, unless he's going to come back and start actually wrestling again on a semi-regular basis.
It wouldn't make sense for him either, because he's the GM of SmackDown. He comes out there and gets his ass whooped by one of his wrestlers.
Yeah, that
kind of undermines his authority.
I mean, Solo maybe, but I think he's going to be involved with Jacob Fatu. So I don't know if they're going to have him doing double duty.
But Doyle,
I don't know.
You're right, man.
Is it the Easter Bunny? I don't know.
You're right, though.
Unless they pull some sort of tag team bullshit out of his out their ass, where like he's looking for a match and maybe like fucking Theory and Waller come out and start trying to run him down, and then they go, okay, I'll fight the both of you, and then thinks he's 1-on-1, and then you can say his name and he'll fucking appear.
I think that would get a big pop.
This could maybe work in that scenario too. But
is Joe Hendry the TNA champion still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that would be pretty cool having a TNA champion at WrestleMania.
It's wild. But again, I'm completely bullshitting. There's no way WWE is going to give a WrestleMania spot to a TNA person over somebody on their own roster.
But Doyle, you got me thinking, man. You said how it is on Rusev Day. Just think, like, the crowd gets fucking quiet and you just hear this. How long has it been since we've heard that? Dude, the crowd would be fucking nuts.
And then he has to come out in the tank.
Yes.
What day is today? That's right, you sing it loud and proud, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Rusev Day.
For people who haven't heard that in a while, yes, I think I would pop for that. It's such an old callback, though.
Yeah, but he can't lose to Randy. He can't lose the debut.
You're right.
I mean, it's a very tight line to walk. I mean, you could go for the babyface versus babyface match and a huge pop if you want to give them time to, but you have to give them enough time to cook to have an actual good match to where neither one of them looks weak. And between a drawn-out segment that would obviously precede the match itself, I don't know how much time they would let the match actually go. And that's the only problem. Like, unless they're going to devote, like, a good, solid, like, 30 minutes just to Randy Orton segment.
Yeah.
And you have, like, a 10-minute promo beforehand followed by a good 20-minute match where they just really go at it and one of them happens to win, probably Randy. Then you could maybe – it could work. But
I think
it's sketchy.
I think whoever it is going to come down and get squashed.
Yeah.
And that's
Who
fine.
else doesn't have a WrestleMania match that's pretty big to that caliber?
WrestleMania always is a squash,
Sami Zayn doesn't have anything going on right now.
I'm never opposed to seeing Sami Zayn get his ass whooped. So.
But I mean, like, where's he been?
Like they're friends though.
Right.
In kayfabe, so
but fuck it, we need a paycheck.
Like, I would have expected Sami Zayn to get involved in the KO Randy match had it happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can take off the table that Kevin is actually hurt.
I I legitimately believe he is. Did
Yeah, I do
pictures
think it's
after
legit,
his
but
surgery?
that would be one hell of a fucking swerve.
I do too, but you never know.
That would almost be like damn near point of no return type of heel heat.
No,
Like you genuinely fuck with the fans' emotions like that. Not that it hasn't been done before, but that is kind of.
Yeah, that might be a step too far.
And then even if it was, why would they let it simmer for so long? The past 2 weeks, with they would be working on the feud
For the shock turn.
I just don't think it's. I just think it's too real, like to fuck around with.
Yeah, I don't think you fuck around with.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's definitely too real. But if they pulled it off, that would be one hell of a fucking shock. But it'd be a shock in a bad way, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be in poor taste.
In poor taste, yes. Maybe in the Vince days, we could probably see something like that, but not now.
God damn it! Say he broke his fucking neck.
Stack of dimes, you call a neck. All right. Let's go through some of these matches. I think some of these matches we might end up going through a lot quicker than expected. I know Doyle's been dying to talk about this one. The War Raiders. This is Eric and Ivar, the current champions, the World Tag Team Champions, going to be versing the New Day, I guess we can call them.
The New Day.
Yeah, Kofi and Xavier. No biggie anymore. I pretty much think the New Day's taking the titles. War Raiders ain't doing shit for me right now. And if you want to keep the New Day hot as heels, give them the fucking titles. Why not, right? They won it a million other times. I forget how many times they're tag champions. 12? 8? I don't even know. A lot.
Something like that.
Yes.
But
12
yeah.
Or 18? I don't know. But yeah, Dre, what do you think?
I'm with you. I think they should win the titles. Because honestly, they're the only interesting tag team on Raw. Mm-hmm. If we're being real. They're the only ones that have any kind of interesting storyline with going with anything at all. Freaking Judgment Day is a faction that, you can put any random two together and call it a tag team, but they don't have it like an established tag team within the faction. War Raiders went from Vikings to bikers and won gold. Great in-ring workers, but other than winning those titles, they have virtually zero story or character development at all. And then who the fuck else is left on Raw? So if you're going to do if the Raw tag division is going to have any kind of hope of getting to the level that the SmackDown tag division is at, you at least need an interesting tag team holding the belts that people would give a shit about seeing on TV, even if it's to boo them. Which, sidebar, it's kind of fucked up or wild that the SmackDown tag team division is the one that's been getting developed and built up so much over the last few months, but the Raw titles are the ones being defended on WrestleMania. Make sense.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that they want something that they consider hot for the SmackDown before WrestleMania.
That's all I can think of.
And because it's going to be an hour and a half of the show is just going to be promos for WrestleMania. Like nothing or hardly anything of any consequence is going to happen whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So I think they're trying to give you I totally agree. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because pretty much all the SmackDown belts are being defended on WrestleMania except for the women's U.S. title and the WWE tag titles.
They're trying to, yes.
So I guess those will be saved for the go home SmackDown, but still, it still seems weird or messed up that they put all this work into that.
Just for the SmackDown. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Doyle, what do you agree? Just the New Day.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that they've got a WrestleMania match, you kind of have to feel bad for the New Day. They had that dastardly heel turn, and for a few weeks they had this nuclear fucking heat, but then they weren't given anything to do with it. And it was kind of like further burdened by the fact that the only way to pay that off was to have a Big E return, and obviously that was never going to happen. So it's just like the only thing to do with them, I think, is to put the titles on them. I like the War Raiders fine, but teams named the Raiders do plenty of losing in that building. There's just going to be another one.
That was a good burn.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only way to salvage this New Day heel turn is put the titles on them. And good for them. I mean, you're going to love the New Day, of course, but this just seems kind of...
Yeah, they've definitely... They've lost a lot of the momentum they've had since they turned heel.
Yeah.
They've almost been reduced to almost like...
And then they couldn't do anything with Big E anyway.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of got fucked a little bit.
Maybe they did
had
it a
all
little
that,
too soon.
all that emotional investment from the fans just for them to just spend the next couple weeks complaining about how much everybody hates them. Just sucked all the life out of it.
I thought maybe it was a little too soon.
This heel turn is to put the titles on them.
Right.
So we agree. Yay.
Yay. All right. Next on the card, we got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. God, I've been dying for this match. Let me tell you.
Do we know if this has a sponsorship? I think Rey is like 3-0 in sponsored matches.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that like Cinnamon Toast Crunch match? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It came out this week, I guess, that Sal Rocca was the dancing Cinnamon Toast Crunch mascot at ringside during that abomination. But
wow.
Anyway, I digress. I apologize.
Everybody got to start somewhere.
Yep.
Is this going to go how we all see it? Rey's going to win, pulling the mask off, revealing it's Chad Gable. Is that how predictable this is going to be? Is that why
probably?
Is that why this is going to become a bathroom break? Because,
I think this is going to be fucking great. I mean, it's not going to be a 5-star classic.
No,
I think it's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to be hilarious.
I think it's going to be fun.
Chad Gable's hilarious. I fully expect he'll be unmasked, but like, I kind of hope they do some kind of stupid shit where like he rolls into the ring and then like a fat guy in the outfit rolls out the other side, and just I hope they just ham it the fuck up.
I do too.
Like I love this shit when it's done well. I love this shit. Like remember I loved that Sami Zayn Johnny Knoxville match a couple years ago. Like when this shit works for me anyway, it really works.
Yeah. They had to have been scouring the indie scenes trying to find another wrestler with a similar build to Chad Gable, just so they could try to clone it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some type of shenanigan with that, and of course, American Made and LWO and all those people. Everybody's going to be.
They'll get their spots in as well.
Yeah. It's like,
you'll get the big slingshot spot.
I'll put a singlet back on again and a mask.
It'd be. I mean, if depending on how the stage is set up, they could get real creative with that. Like I could see like El Grande Americano getting knocked off or knocked under the ring or something like that, and you're thinking he's under the ring, but maybe there's a walkway for them to get backstage from under the ring. Then Grande, fake Grande Americano comes out from under the ring. Then Chad Gable comes running from the back. And it just throws all kinds of chaos into shit.
Yeah. I hope it's more cut and dry. I hope it's more than just, it's really Chad Gable. I hope there's shenanigans like that. I love that shit.
Really funny as shit. Take off the mask. It's Kurt Angle. Heel Kurt Angle. Now he's gonna manage Chad Gable and his group. I saw that theory and I was like, that's a bit of a stretch. I think Kurt Angle's pretty much
leave Kurt out of it. Let it be some random indie jobber in the Grande Americano mask. And then Chad just sits there, I told you it wasn't me. I told you.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of shenanigans. I'm going to fucking love it.
I mean, if they want to continue it past WrestleMania, that would be the way to do it. Reveal Grande and Chad in the ring at the same time.
Well, yeah, dude, there's El Grande Americano
then Chad Gable has the mask sticking out of his pocket or something. I don't know. I don't expect this is going to go beyond.
Probably not, just because it kind of got a little bit of
I'll tell you what,
mixed reviews,
Little
some
splashback.
negative publicity, and we know once being a corporate owned entity, they're very negative publicity averse. So if they wanted to cut it short, I could see them doing it now.
I've been reading comments, right, and on the internet of some of this stuff, and it's funny. Like, people are just rolling with it. Like, somebody was showing today. We posted one about oh, look, he has the bloody knuckles are matching, and like people are making up all these excuses for it, right? The tattoo on his back. Somebody was like, I can't believe they've gone to that far of lengths to duplicate, like, Americano and Chad Gable. They both get the matching tattoos. Like, it's just funny, some of the stuff people say online about it, but
it's the running joke that here's the proof. Bullshit.
Right. So we do all three of us think Ray's gonna win this one.
Yeah, and I think further, if a Raider at ringside is going to get involved or whatever, it'll be this match.
Yeah, I mean, if there's gonna be any comic relief on the card besides maybe Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, this is probably
hard
the
to say.
comic.
I'm gonna
relief.
say I'm 80% Ray. I would not rule out Grande Americano winning and this gimmick continuing past WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, the piece of metal in the mask is fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They keep mentioning the metal in the mask, and
I was thinking like maybe he would do that. Ray would go to 619 him and hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
Like some stupid shit like that.
I love how people are like, I can't believe Chad Gable doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. It's like ridiculous. He's not even on the card. Oh. Okay. So that's.
I hope Chad took a picture at home sometime during this week, and he waits till WrestleMania to post it. Like sitting at the crib, can't wait to watch WrestleMania.
I would love to see him with, El Grande Americano together. Who else did we see that with? Another wrestler. Like, they tried to duplicate themselves, and they took a fake picture of themselves with them.
Well, there was Elias and his Ezekiel, and then there was another brother too.
Mm-hmm.
But he would Photoshop himself in. Yes, and I thought that I loved that storyline. I thought it was hilarious. See, I love that dumb shit.
That one I hated. The Elias and Ezekiel thing, I hated that shit.
I loved how crazy it made Kevin Owens. Oh, good times.
You just wiped that tear away from your eye. Ugh, good times. All right, here's another possible sweep it, maybe, for us, on agreeance here. Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a singles match. Naomi's the heel here. Jade's the face. I feel like Jade's just going to go over here. She's going to get in. I think they're going to put on a pretty good match, but I feel like Jade's going to get the W for sure. I mean, it'd be her first singles win at WrestleMania. I think taking an L from Jade isn't so bad, Naomi. So, Dre.
Yeah, Jade's probably gonna win, just because that's how typical revenge arcs work. Especially revenge arcs going into a big PLE or pay-per-view. Usually the babyface will get the win. So, yes, Jade is gonna win. The only reason why I sound melancholy about it is because I'm concerned for where Naomi goes after this, because she has something going with her heel character right now, in my opinion. Like, the promos she's been cutting are good, and she seems to have something that's resonating beyond just, the happy-go-lucky glow girl. Like, she actually has some meat on the bone to this character. And I hope it's not just used to be served up to Jade and then she just falls by the wayside. I don't know how she remains a major player beyond this, but I hope they have plans for Naomi past WrestleMania and, getting Jade over.
Well, I'm glad you have those concerns because I have solved all of them for you.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Naomi's heel turn, and I love it for her, and it's great. And yeah, the conventional wisdom is that Jade is going to come and kick her ass. But what if something like this happened? Jade beats the brakes off of Naomi, kicks her ass, whatever. She's beating her. But then Naomi mixes in like a little bit of veteran savvy and a little bit of a whole lot, actually, a whole lot of heel shit. And maybe she uses a weapon, or better yet, what if she starts her own stable and brings out what's that? Who's the NXT girls that they were?
Lash Legend and
not a bad fucking idea, Doyle.
So and then she starts her own stable, and she somehow, she through nefarious means beats Jade, who was kicking the shit out of her. So Jade still looks strong. You can still have Jade go over at Backlash or whatever.
So Jade becomes the new Bayley.
Naomi as a queen pin, kind of, and gives her some muscle.
That would elevate Naomi a bit too, being like the leader. She was never a leader of a group. She's been part of stables, but never like the head of a stable. Huh.
That would be interesting.
I like that, Doyle. Yeah, dude, I'm on board with that shit.
Yeah,
because they do have a little bit of tension since the Rumble we've seen with those NXT.
They've had because
they've had interaction between them.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna, I forgot what faction they are in. What, Metaphor? Is that it?
I think so. Yeah.
In NXT, yeah. I mean, they've been teasing them on the main roster for a while, so
yeah.
If they're gonna make the full call up, that would probably work out better for them than just being random tag team lost in a roller coaster division. If they're actually connected to somebody with some, that's ain't involved in a significant singles push, then they can get that same shine that can hopefully elevate them, similar to what Bayley did with, Dakota and Io with Damage Control. Yeah, I'm not opposed to honestly recycling that formula for other stars.
Yeah, I think something like that could definitely work. But yeah, I did want to say another thing about this match. Well, not this match specifically, but I guess this match specifically. And I'm super glad this is happening on WrestleMania, not on SmackDown, but it is fucking ridiculous. It's been 19 years since the last one-on-one women's match that didn't involve a title. And this is the only one that ever hasn't been a gimmick match either.
Yeah, first one ever that wasn't a gimmick.
Back at WrestleMania 21, Tori Wilson beat Candice Michelle in 4 minutes in a Playboy pillow fight match. Like, what the fuck? Why? But like, it's just crazy. But like, I feel like this is a good place to remind us that we now have these women's mid-card titles that we've asked for years, and we finally have them, and we're not defending either of them on WrestleMania. Like, I wouldn't take this match away for one of those matches, but maybe I'd take away something else somewhere. Like this, they're broadcasting for 18 fucking hours this weekend. We can't
not only
12 minutes for a Chelsea Green match. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
right. And not only are we not defending either mid-card title at WrestleMania, one of them is chasing the fucking tag title.
Oh my god, don't get me fucking started with that, dude. Like,
fuck?
Who the fuck is gonna thinking right now she's the right woman to put two titles on? No.
Well, I'm
sorry. The tag titles.
That's beside the point.
Formed a tag team with your rival the week of, and then ran through the entire women's tag team division in a gauntlet match. Make it make sense.
Nope.
Ran through not just the whole women's tag, former tag champions. Former women's tag champions just, nope. Sorry. Served up to Lyra and Bayley. Who just became a tag team this morning.
Our idea last episode of Alexa Bliss chasing it with Nikki Cross was the original plan. But now make sense. Bo Dallas got injured, so they're putting everybody on the Wyatt Six on hold. That includes Alexa Bliss, who just signed a brand new juicy contract. Imagine coming back to work for a few days, and they're like, you know what? Go back home.
Go back and sit
Have
on ice
another
for the
baby.
floor.
You know, we don't need you because Bo Dallas is injured. Well, what the fuck does that have to do with the women's tag titles? I don't.
That shows a lack of creativity.
I think so.
One, there's no reason why someone the star power of Alexa Bliss could not be serving as a leader / manipulator of the Wyatt Six in Bo Dallas's absence.
Absolutely. We're drifting away here.
If they're going to be associating with her with them, she should not be just another woman in the faction. That's what you got Sarah Logan for. She can be the one woman in the faction. They don't need two of them. And Alexa Bliss can definitely do more.
Fucking tag titles. These fucking Intercontinental.
Oh, well, but I guess on the bright side, at least, that's why we're getting, an Evolution 2 this summer.
That's the rumor.
Evolution 2 coming this summer. Yeah, exciting. All right, guys, let's move it along. This long-ass match card. Next, we got LA Knight. Yeah, the United States Champion versus Jacob Fatu. As much as I'm going to enjoy this, I'm pretty sure Jacob Fatu is walking out with the United States Championship. I think it's the perfect title for him. I think he's the perfect dude to hold it right now. I just see I would love if he wins that United States title and he brings back the open challenge. Just every night he just comes out there like, who's next? Who wants some? Just Jacob Fatu just running his mouth. This, who wants a piece of this title? Like, I'll lay it right here, right now. People come out and they fall right before him. Next week, next guy. You know what I mean? Until we get like a wall that he hits with somebody. But I think Jacob Fatu as the United States Champion would be interesting as fuck. And that's the way I see it going. Now that he's kind of out of the bloodline storyline, he's kind of on his own. Yeah, straight to the fucking moon with this guy.
But he ain't out yet because Solo's still out there claiming that
he is. But,
Jacob's going to bring it back to the family.
Right, but
that storyline still has to play out between them.
Right. But just seeing him being able to go after a singles title, I'm happy. Like, we don't have Solo going for it. We don't have anybody else. It's
remember when we thought it was going to be Jacob Fatu versus Solo
at WrestleMania, right?
God, I'm glad we're not getting that.
Jeez, yeah, right.
Yeah, they definitely dragged that out longer than expected. But I mean, it kind of, I guess, it makes sense with everything else they got going on. They don't need to play that card yet. They can save that for another PLE, or even draw it out till SummerSlam. Since they got 2 nights of SummerSlam, they need to fill out this year.
I still think one of the biggest pops of the year, and I think it'll happen this year, is when Jacob Fatu says, "I hate you, Solo."
Yeah,
oh yeah,
we're all waiting for it, right? Yeah, Dre, let's get more of your insight on this. Who do you think? Jacob Fatu?
Yeah. Jacob should win this match. I would be shocked if they let LA Knight get a pin over Jacob Fatu, because Jacob Fatu's star is rising and still rising fairly rapidly. Whereas LA Knight, I feel, has peaked.
Yes, sir.
He has absolutely peaked. He still gets the pop. Sure, everybody still screams LA Knight, yeah, and all this stuff, but he just ain't going nowhere. It ain't developing. It's kind of just spinning the wheels and running the same stuff. That's what separates him. I mean, for all the skills and the talent that he has, that's what separates him from The Rock or Stone Cold, being that next level guy with those gifts and those talents that can take it to the next level. They've kept people interested. They kept people engaged. Yes, they would run off their catchphrases, but they could also really improv at the drop of a dime and adapt to whatever scenario that kept people interested and kept things going, and still had that stuff in the ring to match it. LA Knight doesn't quite have all that. Yeah, he's good on the mic, but it's kind of the same thing every week when he gets on the mic. A little bit of rundown, but no real flair to it. Nothing that's really memorable. Like, what's the last memorable line that you remember from an LA Knight promo? There isn't one. But we can look back at Stone Cold and Rock and the guys like that and think of plenty of memorable lines that they said outside of their catchphrases. LA Knight just doesn't have that. His matches are okay, but nothing really to write home about. His finisher sucks. Care what nobody fucking say. That BFT is trash as a finisher. Like that freaking lay down stunner or whatever the fuck bullshit it is. That shit is whack as fuck. So yeah, to me, he's peaked. He's going to be probably a strong mid-carder for the rest of his run. I just don't see him as world champion material. Jacob, on the other hand, definitely has all that in him. And there's still more to be seen from him. I don't think we've seen half of what Jacob Fatu is capable of. I don't think we've even seen half of what he's capable of, what he could do if he got a face run, or if he started like you alluded to, Wayne, really standing on his own as a character, breaking away from the bloodline and then really stepping out. Yeah, he's got the potential. He's got all the potential in the world, and it can start with him becoming United States champion at WrestleMania and seeing where it goes from here with him and Solo and the Bloodline 2.0, and then how that storyline plays out. So sorry, LA Knight.
Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, what I this is what I wrote on the paper. It's just pretty simple. LA Knight has peaked. Jacob Fatu might main event WrestleMania 42. Look, I think the only way LA Knight wins this is if Solo screws Jacob over, either accidentally on purpose or accidentally on purpose. That's the only chance LA Knight has, I think. In which case, I would expect Jacob to win at Backlash. Or whatever, down the road somewhere. Otherwise, yeah, strap a rocket to him. Yeah, he might main event next year. Yeah, and I don't think LA Knight will. Yeah, I was exactly. He is peaked. Dre said it exactly.
Well, all right.
Go from LA Knight, to LA Knight,
Yes, exactly.
L.A. Knight, shit. I mean, I still love L.A. Knight. I think he's a great guy. I think he's gonna. But you're right though, Dre. He's just spinning his wheels right now. Let's see where. That's the thing about WrestleMania is like we're all getting. It always seems like this is where we're all trying to get to every year. We're all trying to get to the big storyline, the big third act of the year, and the third act of the year, the end of the season final. It's always WrestleMania. And then for me, it feels like everything just restarts the Raw after Mania. Like new storylines, new feuds, new champions, new rosters, maybe new wrestlers, people retire. Like, I don't know. I think, let's see where the...
Here's the thing about LA Knight. How many people would you put a world title on before him? Because the list is about like 15 to 18 people long, I would say.
I know. But,
yeah.
And that's just like, I'd put a title on Drew before him. I'd put a title back on Priest before him. I'd probably put a world title on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens before him. Like the list gets real long, real fast, and of course, Punk, Drew, and Roman. And
all right, Doyle. Here's the ultimate question: would you put a world title on Braun Breaker before you would put one on LA Knight?
Fuck yeah.
Now I want to hear Doyle's opinion.
Yes.
I know how he feels.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm in the minority, but people seem to like Bron Breakker, and he's still on an upward trajectory, much like Jacob Fatu is. And LA Knight is not. He has peaked, you know.
All right.
And see, and you know what? I don't even fully blame LA Knight for all of it.
No.
I think part of it is also the booking. I think
for sure.
Really where they kind of made a mistake with him and his momentum, they threw him at Roman Reigns too soon. And that kind of...
And they also didn't put that U.S. title on him soon enough.
That's also part of it. They waited
were
too
waiting
long
for WrestleMania, and it was like, you don't, it's like in 8 months. Like, do it now.
Yeah, they didn't strike while the iron is hot. And when they did strike, they missed. Because, like, he had all the hype, he had the momentum, he had everything. And rather than take that and say, all right, we're going to make you U.S. champion and give you a decent run with the belt with some storylines, they said, all right, you're hot, you're really cool, you're interested right now. Everybody's behind you, you got all this momentum. Go lose to Roman Reigns. And that kind of killed him. And I think back at the time, I kind of made the comparison that it could have potentially turned into a Sting Ric Flair situation where, okay, you get this hot young, not you're really young given his real age, but in the fans' eyes, young-ish type guy, up and coming. You challenge the top, the champion. You aim at the top. You come up short, but you look good in the process, and then you can ride that momentum to work your way back up there. And the problem is he had the moment, he took his shot, he lost, but he didn't really look all that great in the loss and losing. Not that he got squashed or anything, but does anybody remember shit from that match? And then,
Exactly.
Right, it's nothing really memorable about it. He didn't make much of an impact. And then spent the next couple of months talking about, I almost beat you. I could have had you. Instead of just getting back to the work. And then months later, he finally becomes U.S. champion. But by then, the moment was gone. The momentum had been lost. It was a cool moment. Yeah, everybody, it happened. And what was everybody's reaction? Not, hell yeah, LA Knight. Everybody was like, finally. Like, oh, about time y'all did that. The momentum had been gone. It was lost. The spark had kind of diminished some. I mean, that rocket was running out of gas. It's up there. It's still high up there. He still gets the pops and the reaction. But it ain't much fuel left in the tank to keep him going any higher. And we're probably about to see a slow parachute descent back down to earth.
All right. Let's move on to the next match. Tiffany Stratton, women's champion, WWE women's champion, versus Charlotte Flair. God.
Real Housewives of WWE.
Daughter versus mother, daughter versus grandmother. I honestly believe that Charlotte's gonna walk away with the title and just get even more fucking heat than she already fucking has. Man,
of course.
Yeah. Like it or not, I think people are going to be more interested into the Tiffany Stratton's chase after Charlotte. And I feel like what I've heard rumors, too, is we could see Tiffany chasing the title for another year and trying to win it kind of similar to Rhea, like winning it the next year, getting her second lick at her and winning that title back. Building, I guess, Tiffany Stratton up over the year. Charlotte Flair's she's gonna beat that world title record before Cena, maybe at this point. I mean, she's pretty damn close. Let's see. I don't know if it says. Was she like 15? 14, 15 champion right now? Something like that.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Something like that. Like 14?
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think, I think Tiffy time is out. As much as I like Tiffany Stratton, as popular as she is right now, I'm sorry, you're going against Charlotte at WrestleMania. Yowie wowie. Dre, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, despite how ratchet and ghetto and raggedy this damn feud has been,
Yeah,
nothing has
awful.
changed my mind about the outcomes from the moment Charlotte won the Rumble, that she was going to go into WrestleMania and win the title. And I think that's been their plan the whole time. Only thing that's changed is that they probably originally thought Charlotte was going to go in as the babyface and get the big babyface champions win. And instead, she's going to get the heel piss off everybody win. But either way, she's still going to win and become a 15-time world champion. But yeah, this is still raggedy as fuck, ghetto as fuck. I feel like the only time this feud really got interesting is when we all found out that these two actually really don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the most interesting part about this whole feud, is that, oh shit, they actually got legit heat with each other or legit beef with each other. And that going off script thing was because, you know, they actually don't like each other, or Charlotte got rattled, or Charlotte's trying to do some sort of hazing or whatever for the young up-and-comer, or whatever the hell it is. But that's been the most interesting part about this whole feud. Them little rumbles and fights they were having with Tiffy jumping off the stage and this, that, and the third and shit. Whatever, that's standard fare. Only time this thing really got interesting is when we found out these two really don't like each other. And the only interest I really have in this match is going to be a good match. Yes, both of them can go in the ring, and the match itself should be great if they, because both of them can cook. But my only concern is this shit going to break down, or are they going to really get to scrapping for real for a moment in the match? Yeah. Like, could their emotions boil over and we see one of them, like, slap the fuck out of the other one, like, a little extra hard or something?
Yeah, we saw it with Charlotte and Nia, and Charlotte has done it a couple times.
Yeah, like, does Charlotte get a little extra stiff with Tiffy, and does Tiffy give it back a little bit? Yeah. That's my only interest in this match, is to see if it breaks down in any way.
Well, that's when wrestling's at its best, right? When you're like, oh, how much of this is real and how much of it isn't? Yeah, I mean, I'll say something about this match and the Jey Uso Gunther match, and that's like, they both were just victims of being way too long, the feuds, I mean, with WrestleMania being so much later than it usually is this year. At least Jey and Gunther had Jimmy to insert, into the storyline. Tiffy and Charlotte's problems they've had two problems, really. And I don't think they could have foreseen happening. And Dre, you kind of mentioned it. Charlotte has this, like, go away heat or X-Pac heat, if you will. And if you look back in the PCW archives, you'll see that I said that Charlotte, if they're insisting on putting her in a title match at WrestleMania, should have had her go through the Elimination Chamber. So she kind of had to earn it a little more than just getting a high number in the Rumble and she wins the thing. This perception that she's a Nepo baby. Would she call herself Nepo Queen, right?
Dude, the use of Nepo baby in the past few weeks has been fucking ridiculous. This new wrestling term that I have not heard in quite some time now is in everybody's fucking promo. Sorry. Go on.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you could still end up in the same place in the same match. Right. You could still end up with this Charlotte Tiffany match. You just lop off 4 weeks. Maybe would have helped it a little. So I think Charlotte's go away heat is one problem. The other thing I think is that they didn't realize how green Tiffy was going to end up being on the microphone, and just how buried in Charlotte's aura she kind of would end up in some of these promos. Yeah, and like outside of a couple lines, like was that scripted? Was that not? Are they going to get in trouble for saying that? There's really hasn't been much of a very interesting feud. The dive, the pull apart they did, and Tiffany dove off the stage was pretty cool. So like that, that was really the only good segment they had in the whole build. But for as lackluster as I think the build was, the match I think is going to be fucking awesome. Potential to be match of the weekend. Because while Charlotte is a privileged little nepo queen that gets everything handed to her on a silver platter, she's also one of the best lady wrestlers ever. But I think Tiffany might be like the next best wrestler of the moment. Certainly the best to come out of NXT since the four horsewomen: Becky, Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte. So I think there's very little doubt this is going to be a great match. The biggest question: who's going to win? I think the best thing is for Tiffany to retain. And I think it's best for everyone, best for business, as John Cena likes to say. For Tiffy, obviously, it's a huge feather in her cap. It's the biggest win of her career. Really cements her as one of the pillars of the women's division for the next decade or so. And I think Charlotte, with a loss, it gives her a little bit of the chance to take back some of the "you get everything handed to you" narrative. And if you're going to be a heel, you want to generate heel heat, because you're doing asshole heel shit, not because the audience hates you because you're a little daddy's girl. Mm-hmm. So I think a Charlotte loss here would be good for her. Maybe kind of snatch some of that back, hopefully. And then maybe she can kind of take a step back and regroup. I wouldn't be surprised if you get, at the end of this, you get Charlotte raises her hand or something like that. One of those touching, sportsmanship kind of moments at the end.
Would the fans accept it though?
I think she should.
But would the fans accept it though? If Charlotte tried to, if Tiffy wins and they have just a one-on-one clean bang over match and Tiffy goes over, and then Charlotte comes in the ring to try to, raise her hand and give her props, would the fans accept it, or would they still it would depend on
That's a good question.
I think it would depend on how the match plays out. Like if the match plays out really well to where Charlotte wins the fans over in the match through sheer, work and guts, then I could see her coming in afterwards and trying to raise Tiffy's hand and give her the props. But if it's just, standard fare, they boo the fuck out of Charlotte and cheer the hell out of everything Tiffy does, and no matter how hard they work, they still hate Charlotte at the end, and she tries to go in there and then raise Tiffy's hands, no, they'll boo her out the building, tell her get the fuck out the ring or something like that. It could almost turn against her and see her as Charlotte trying to mooch a little bit of spotlight off of Tiffy in her grand moment. It would almost be one of the things they'd have to play by ear. And maybe Charlotte, if she's savvy enough, could play it by ear and decide whether she should try to go in the ring afterwards and raise Tiffy's hand or just walk off.
Yeah, well, if something like that happens, we'll see.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. But of course, if she wins, then, she's just going to sit there and fucking gloat.
I just... when Charlotte wins that title again at WrestleMania, just the crowd is just gonna fucking hate it, and I'm gonna love it. I'm fine with whoever walks out with the title, to be honest.
Yeah, you still worship your pencil queen,
dude. Pencil queen. Oh God. All right. Now, moving on to the juicier stuff. At least for night one. We are going into Gunther, World Heavyweight Champion, versus Jey Uso. Now, I've expressed how I haven't thought that they've elevated Jey Uso enough to make me believe that he's going to win the world title. But, like, he'll have promos that make me believe a little bit, and then he has ones I think it's just, I don't know, I just don't take him too serious. Maybe he's just over with the yeet. Is that why? I'm just not on board. Let's recall this week, Jay's he talks about how his twin was violated and he's got beat, and he talks about, do you have a mom? I have a mom. What'd you do this week? Did you guys eat? What'd you eat? He's asking all these types of weird questions. And then we found out that this week he's not afraid of him anymore. And, here's... I got a little bit of an audio clip from it. Here it is.
Hey! I'm not afraid anymore! I said I'm not afraid anymore! Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore!
It kind of went like that.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, it was pretty close, right? That's what I was thinking of. I'm not afraid of you anymore, Oos. I think we're gonna have a great
if
fucking
I had
match.
known you was gonna be disrespecting Big Oos like that, I'd have talked more shit about Charlotte Flair.
No, you can't. We're past it. We're way past it. You have to wait till we come back around and we do the post show. But we're gone, Dre. We've moved on. It would be a huge win for Jay. Huge fucking win for this guy. Especially how
Is he going to go 0-4 against Gunther?
What's that?
You think he's going to go 0-4 against Gunther?
Yeah. That's what they brought up. He's 0-3 against Gunther right now. To have like somebody like Gunther who's held a title basically 90% of his career in this company. He's just always had gold around his waist. And I think, since it's been off of Seth Rollins and it's been in his hands, I feel like he's elevated it to a different type of status. Definitely apart from the what Cody is doing with his. I just feel like it's definitely seems different. Even though we see Cody on Raw all the fucking time, but it made me feel as Gunther was more of a prize fighter than the prize fighting champion over Cody. But it would be a huge win for Jay at WrestleMania. I just don't believe it, man. I just don't think it's going to happen. And we've gotten that before, where we've gotten all the way to WrestleMania and they didn't do it. And we had it done recently was Cody. And we had it with John Cena. He didn't beat The Rock the first time. I didn't think that shit was going to happen. We've had shocking fucking results at WrestleMania. What's to say that they don't fucking give it to Jay? Just keep that fucking Gunther train going. Because there's times before where we thought plenty of people who were going to beat Gunther. Especially, we're talking just his Intercontinental title run. There was guys like, oh yeah, for sure, this guy's going to take the title from him. For sure. Sheamus is definitely winning it this time, right? Mm-hmm. And we were fooled. And
who said that?
Yeah, right? But the Gunther train just fucking keeps going, man. And just decimates everything in his path. I would totally see it. This huge buildup. And, what a heel fucking, think about the heat that he would fucking get if he pulls off a fucking win. I mean, it's just in the realm of possibility. And if not, then you get the fucking happy ending where everybody's fucking yeeting. But here's the thing: is like if Jey was really gonna win this title, wouldn't he be in the main event? Wouldn't you want to end the show or at least open the show with this match? You know, either one of these nights. I know that's so hard to say. It's so hard to say because of how many people are on this card, right? You know, we always assume that these champions are always supposed to be in the main event, but like, damn, our main event for night one is bigger than this. It's bigger than this, and there's no title involved. Dre, what, are you on the same page as me, or are you thinking? Are you on the other end where this is Jay's gonna win it? This is his moment. We're gonna fucking yeet to the end of the night. Everybody's gonna yeet all over the place.
I still think Jey wins the match.
Okay.
Just even despite the fact that, and it goes back to what Doyle said earlier. The main thing that's hurt this feud is the long time from the Rumble to WrestleMania. This long, drawn out phase, and especially with getting nothing in between it at Elimination Chamber. Like, that could have been that. Usually when we get these Rumble to Mania build-ups or something happens in between involving either the champion or the challenger at the February pay-per-view. And we didn't get any of that, whether it's, you know, we have the Rumble winner, but the champion is still unknown, and then the champion is decided at the following pay-per-view. In the case of, like, if you think back to WrestleMania 17, Stone Cold won the Rumble, but Kurt was the champion. Kurt Angle was the champion at the time. And then The Rock won the title at, what was it? No Way Out?
Right.
So then at that point, we knew we had Rock Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Or something else of that nature, whether if it's a champion that changes or the actual challenger for the main title decided. But this one we knew really early on that it was locked in Jey versus Gunther. And then we had 2 whole months to try to build up to this match, and they didn't have the storyline there to keep it interesting. It pretty much dragged and spun its wheels with, Jey coming out doing the yeet thing and having these matches with people that had nothing to do with Gunther whatsoever, which I thought was a mistake. Like, if he was going to have matches, they should have had some sort of connection to Gunther, whether it was Gunther sending, goons or hitmen or whatever to try to take out Jey or something but they never connected any of it back to Gunther. So he was just spinning wheels, no development, no interest. That's how you lose people's interest in it. And then when they finally get to something that's compelling and interesting, it's right here at the tail end with getting Jimmy involved and the beatdown and the bloody mess. And, then there's finally something there. Jey follows it up the following week with the promo he cuts on Gunther, which I thought was a good promo. I'm not gonna say that Jey knocked it out the park, but it was a good promo. And to me, it should have ended there. I didn't think that Jey needed to come out this past week and more of he was obviously still not wearing any of the Yeet clothing, but in a bit more of a jovial mood or a bit more of a, pseudo celebratory move. That almost made me think that Jey's gonna lose. So like you getting back up almost into like you in a good place again. Like it's almost like you jinxed it. Like when you see somebody win the match, the go home match before their title match.
Right.
That confirms like, oh well, they're gonna fucking lose. Mm-hmm. It almost gave me that sense. The fact that he didn't go full yeet with everybody, but he still was. He cut basically a babyface like promo and said, play my music again and this, that, and third. It's almost like you're celebrating before the actual win. It makes me fearful that he may have jinxed himself, but I still think he's probably going to win the match and come out on top. unless they've gotten cold feet about Jey and his momentum, which I hope they haven't, because I still think it's still potentially there. But I would say I'm maybe 70-30 on Jey winning. Maybe even 65-35 on Jey winning. Still think he probably is, but little not as solidly confident as I was before.
Okay. Doyle, where do you stand?
Yeah, from the moment Jey pushed John Cena off the apron to win the Royal Rumble, I thought the Jey Uso beating Gunther at Mania was going to be, more or less a foregone conclusion. And nothing has really changed my mind since then. And I kind of keep thinking this is going to be a WrestleMania that it doesn't have a whole lot of feel-good moments. And I think this is going to be one. And I think it's going to be early. That's why I think it's going to open the show on night one.
I thought this was going to be like the next to last match. Didn't or at least there was a rumored leak of the card or possibly the schedule. And
I haven't seen that, obviously.
Yeah, I thought I saw one, and I thought from what I saw that this was going to be the second to last match on night one. Like the only thing that comes after this is the triple threat.
All right, maybe.
What a way to follow, though. Like, what are they going to have in between that? Like, normally they'd have some sort of a buffer match between this.
Not necessarily, because I mean, if Jey were to win, then obviously he's going to get the big celebration. It just won't close out the show.
Yeah.
But he'll have the big, victorious celebration with the WrestleMania crowd, which will obviously eat up a good chunk of time. Especially if, Jimmy comes out there and the family's there and he's celebrating it, and if Rikishi's there. If they make it a big deal, it can still, even though it's not the main event, it can still kind of feel like
Yokozuna also, he won a title in Vegas. I think, I'm sure Roman must have. But there's like some history of that family winning world titles in that city.
Yeah. Yoko also lost it too.
Yeah, he did. He lost
also
Logan.
true. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, thank God they inserted Jimmy into this feud, though, right? It was really struggling. Same as what I said with Tiffany and Charlotte. Just 10 weeks is just way too long. Something I kind of wish they would do, since Dre, you kind of brought it up. If they, have the winner of the Rumble pick their champion, and whatever champion doesn't get picked has to defend the title in Elimination Chamber. I don't know how you find an opponent for that champion, but I think that's just a way to maybe spice things up. It just seems like this guaranteed ticket to WrestleMania through the. It's just it's too much. Anyway, I think the edible starting to kick in. So I'm going to keep my expectations kind of low and hope to be pleasantly surprised. I'm generally a big fan of Gunther. Not necessarily a huge Jey Uso fan. So it'll be interesting to see how these styles mesh. Does it become an actual compelling back and forth, match, or is it just a series of chops and super kicks, back and forth? The most interesting thing, though, I think, is what comes next. What does the championship world title reign for Jey look like? And what does Gunther look like without a title? What did he say? He's had a title for 80% of his time. So we've hardly seen titleless Gunther. So what does that look like? As for Jey, again, I'm going to set my expectations low and hope to be pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure this is going to be a particularly noteworthy title reign. I feel like first ones usually aren't. Hopefully it's not lackluster, but I kind of don't see him having the title very long. Again, maybe I'll be wrong. Gunther, I think, might be in line to go babyface, though. I think the crowd's probably ready to cheer him. And I kind of hope it's kind of a while before they put some gold around his waist again, just to see what that looks like. But I think they're going to have to turn him babyface sooner rather than later because I think the crowd just likes him too much. But yeah, I just really don't see any other outcome than Jey winning.
Yeah. One thing I will add is, as is always the case with WrestleMania season, especially as you get closer to the show, people look back and remember past WrestleManias. And one thing that kind of puts additional pressure on Jey is last year's WrestleMania and him having arguably the worst match of either night with his brother Jimmy. So he can't afford to have bad matches in back-to-back years.
Right.
Now, granted, he's working with Gunther, so the odds of him having a bad match with Gunther should be fairly slim, given what Gunther is capable of. But as you alluded to, Doyle, if it just turns into a chop super kick fest, people will turn on that match.
That happening.
Right, and people will turn on that match real quick. And if Jey has 2 bad matches in back-to-back WrestleMania years, that could really hurt him.
Yes. And I don't love Gunther losing 2 WrestleManias in a row, but I think Jey going 0-4 against Gunther is worse.
Yeah. And and if he's going to lose 2 WrestleManias in a row, at least he's dropping titles at it.
Yes. And then you can play with that if you want. Oh, Gunther can't win a title, can't hold on to a title at WrestleMania or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Can't defend the title on the big show.
Will be able to poke at him with that,
Mm-hmm.
Or a good heel, as it were.
Yeah, I guess
you can't get it done when it counts the most.
We'll fucking see, man. We'll see if everybody's fucking eating it by the end of the night or not. Alright. Let's move on to Night 1's main event. The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. The Best in the World, CM Punk. With Paul Heyman. And the Architect, Seth freaking Rollins. This is a hell of a main event. I'll tell you what, dude. I think the Night 1, this is like the one I'm looking forward to the most. Of course. It just has so much factoring into it with these 3. Honestly, did I see this, becoming a triple threat? No. I did see Roman and Seth maybe having a WrestleMania match, but having Punk injected into it, turning it to a triple threat, and then, you got these guys basically fighting over Paul Heyman, and I have some people who watch wrestling at my work, and they come up to me at work and ask me my opinion on who I think's going to win, and everybody's saying they think Paul Heyman is going to align himself with Seth Rollins. I hear a lot of that. I don't believe it. I could see it, considering Paul Heyman has turned on literally everybody. He's turned on Roman before. He's turned on Brock. He's turned on Big Show. He's turned on Punk before. He's the list goes on. He's turned on everybody. So what's to say that, favor or not, he turns on. We figure with Punk in his corner that with Heyman in his corner, that Punk is going to come out as the winner here. And what's weird is there's no title involved. Like, what do these guys get at the end of the day? Just who's the better wrestler? There's no title shot involved after this. I would like to think so. You're main eventing WrestleMania without a title involved. I would like to think that maybe after this match you deserve one. Or at least a title shot. Roman has just dominated the past couple years. He took the L at WrestleMania last year. That's a big L for him. I mean, this is his 10th, maybe, I think, main eventing WrestleMania, or being at WrestleMania, or something like that. He has a lot. He's been main eventing, and I don't think Roman necessarily needs the W for this. Who would benefit the most is probably going to be Seth Rollins. I think the idea of Paul and Seth together doesn't make sense at all on paper. To me, it just doesn't with the history of the two. But it would elevate Seth just to the point where Punk and Roman are. Just to that level. You know what I mean? Like, Seth is just about there. But, you know, when was the last... We had Seth's world title run, but, like, as a heel, the last time we had a good heel Seth Rollins, right? Think about it. When? Corporate Rollins, when he was with Triple H and what was it? Jamie Noble and Kane. Do you guys remember that? I think that was a little bit after the heights of the century. That was like 10 years ago. You know, this would definitely elevate Seth to the next level. You know, that would make it a lot more interesting for the summer. You know, we would have Punk maybe trying to get some sweet revenge on Rollins and Heyman. And, you know, maybe you have Roman Reigns right behind him. You know, two enemies with a common goal, both to take down Rollins. I personally want Punk to win because the man's finally got his main event. Don't give him the L. He's gotten this far. I mean, there's a wonderful promo out there you can see where it was many, many years ago with Punk, you know, and Heyman saying to each other, like, one day I'm going to walk with you down that ramp and you're going to be main eventing WrestleMania. Now, he did say it was for the WWE title, but, you know, but still, to main event, you know, it's his dream. And it's great that your dream doesn't involve a title. It involves just main eventing one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year.
You could argue the title is Paul Heyman.
Yeah, you got. I saw a meme today that said you have two guys with gorgeous wives fighting over Paul Heyman. it's so true. But like, how crazy is it? Think of how many WrestleMania main events or just matches alone that
Who
Heyman
doesn't have a gorgeous wife?
I was about to say, whoever made that meme, who do they think doesn't have the gorgeous wife?
Yeah, I know. They said that they both have the gorgeous wife.
I mean, Becky Lynch, yes, she ain't exactly my cup of tea, but I can still sit there and say she is objectively a beautiful woman.
Oh, no, I know, but he's not fighting for Paul Heyman, though. He could give a shit
Yeah, but
less.
they said two guys with gorgeous wives. Like,
yeah, fighting
Roman's
over.
married.
You sure didn't say
also...
three guys with gorgeous wives?
No, it said two, fighting over Paul Heyman, because, you know, Seth isn't fighting over Paul Heyman. It's two guys who are fighting over him.
I guess.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't make the meme. I saw it.
I'm glad Doyle and I both picked up on it. Like, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it and I'm going to post it. All right, I'm done talking. Dre, go ahead.
Yeah, the most interesting thing about this match is the fact that there's so many different directions it could go. And so many different outcomes that could happen and how they could play out for the rest of the year, especially going into the summer. Like I said, Paul Heyman could easily side with either of these three, and it could make a certain level of sense. Whether he chooses, you know, to stick with his tribal chief Roman or side with his best friend, you know, Punk, or if the stuff that Seth said made sense to him and now he chooses to go with Seth, or if Seth manipulates him into being his wise man as the favor that he now owes him. And Seth almost plays like the abusive ruler. Like Paul Heyman is now the sympathetic figure in an abusive relationship with Seth Rollins. You know, he gets out of line one time, Stomp City. for him. They could go that route, and either of that could play out. But I'm still going to hold to my original theory in that Paul Heyman is not going to choose any of these three. But his decision will obviously affect the outcome of the match. And I think it will affect the match in the favor of Seth Rollins. Even though I want Roman to win. I mean, if I had to choose, whose team I'm on in these three, I'm Team Roman. But I think Seth Rollins is the one that's going to come out. Roman can afford an L at WrestleMania, and he's completely unaffected. He's still, 1A or 1B on the WWE roster, period. Punk has shown that he can take L's and still be CM Punk. Like, his momentum ain't going nowhere. And also, if he is, betrayed by Paul Heyman, that makes him the sympathetic figure to now seek revenge against Paul Heyman. And as I've said before, I think that's going to play out. I think that's definitely going to play out into future matches that we will get in this year. So that just leaves Seth Rollins, who gets the big win over the other two big guys, which is a feather in his cap to keep him as a top tier star. Not that he wouldn't be without it, but still give him that extra notch on his belt above the others, especially these two. It keeps him kind of on their level, because admittedly, throughout this feud, he's kind of been, the third guy. And it kind of sucks for Seth, because nobody disputes that Seth Rollins is in the upper echelon of the roster. He's sitting at the highest of the tables, pretty much on the roster. He's in that 1%er or whatever, however you want to say it. But he's but within that class, he's at the bottom of that class. If it makes sense. He's in that class with the Romans, the Cody, the Punk, the John Cenas. Right. And he's right there with them. Mm-hmm. But he's at the bottom of it. He's the guy that just gets in. He just gets in. He qualifies, but
he's the Hawkeye of the Avengers.
That what? That's actually not a bad analogy. He's an Avenger, but he's Hawkeye.
It's like, dude, you're awesome, but you're still Hawkeye. You're not as good as Thor, though.
Yeah. I mean, but if you think about it, he can have a match with any of them. He can have a match with anybody. He can have an absolute banger of a match. He gets pops just as big as them. Crowd sings for him just as big as him. But you put him one-on-one in the ring with any of those guys, and they all have a bit more aura than him. They all kind of outshine him just a bit. Cody outshines him. Roman outshines him. Punk outshines him. Cena outshines him. But he can still stand with all of them, but they all just have a little bit more aura. So a match like this, if he can have that extra notch on his belt to say, I'll whoop you two motherfuckers in a triple threat match, that's just that extra thing he has to brag on him about, and to keep him in that, at that same table with the rest of them. So I think he's probably going to win the match, but it's not going to be because Paul Heyman chooses to side with him. It's going to be because Paul Heyman is going to outright reject Roman Reigns and turn on him, and I think probably just not choose CM Punk. He's not going to reject CM Punk, I don't think, but he's also not going to side with him either. But he will outright reject Roman Reigns. And that's going to leave Seth Rollins right there to pick their carcasses and get the win. Doyle.
Yeah, we basically have arrived in the same place, but got there in slightly different ways, I suppose. Wayne, it surprises me that you didn't see this match coming. Like from the minute these three were brawling at the Royal Rumble, I think I even wrote in the Discord like, "Oh, this is the Mania match." These three. At that time, I had a winner in mind, and 2.5 months later, I have that same winner in mind still. But my thinking has changed a little bit over the course of time. That the favor. What's the favor? What's the favor? That kind of loomed large over this match until we found out what the favor was, and then it was just kind of like, really?
I think we all laughed like Roman did, right? Roman kind of basically said what we all thought. Like, are you serious? Like, that's the favor?
Yeah, so, I'm just completely taking the favor out of the equation here, and I'm going with the KISS method. You know what the KISS method is? Keep it simple, stupid. So, yeah, similar to what Dre said. You look at this match, you've got three of the four biggest male full-time stars in the company, right? With the fourth being Cody, obviously. Now, you can argue who's 1, 2, and 3 all you want. You can make an argument for any of them in any spot. But I think you have to say that Seth Rollins is fourth, which is basically just a different way of saying the exact same thing Trey said. So, yeah, I mean, who would benefit the most from a win here is absolutely Seth Rollins. Furthermore, who needs a fresh coat of paint more than anybody else? And that's also Rollins. Punk has only been back for like a year and a half, and half of that time he was on the shelf anyway. So I think they are going to turn him heel eventually, but not yet. They fucking spent the better part of a decade trying to get Roman over as a babyface, and they've finally done that. I don't think they're going to move on from that again, either right away, after 6 months or whatever. So I see a Seth victory and a full-on heel turn also. And I think because this is the main event, quote unquote, something massive has to happen at this, right? Like, this can't just be a triple threat match. Somebody wins. Good night. And kind of the hallmark of Roman Reigns matches has been the shit that happens after the match. So I expect all kinds of drama here. Otherwise, why the fuck is this in the main event? I do think Heyman is going to screw over Punk and or Roman, either on purpose, accidentally, or accidentally on purpose. But something has to happen to justify this match being in the main event. So I was ready to say Heyman was going to leave with Rollins, but after that segment the other night, I thought that's what they want me to think. So now I'm not sure I think it anymore. But either way, I see Seth going monster heel. He elevates himself a little bit. He gets a new kind of reinvention. And whether or not he's with Paul Heyman, I don't know. Dre, you said it best. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. The only thing that could throw a big monkey wrench into all of this, and I just don't think they'll do it because of that damn lawsuit, is Brock Lesnar. If he got involved in this somehow, that would be truly earth-shattering, I think. WrestleMania main event level kind of event. But I just don't think they're going to do that until, if that lawsuit stuff ever gets cleared up. That would be pretty crazy. But I think Seth is going to take it.
Yeah, if his music hit, that would be a massive pop. I agree, but also, it's not happening.
No. I guess somebody saw him recently, and he said that he was retired.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, man's got plenty of money, so he's not strapped for cash. That's for damn sure. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and he lives in the woods or something.
Somewhere up in Minnesota or Montana or something like that.
Minnesota. Yeah. All right, here's what we're
going
to do.
Like he's out blowing hundreds at the strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ric Flair.
But yeah, there would be. Yeah. The one thing that's still out there to be Well, I don't know that it'll factor into night one. We can wait till we get to the end of night two, because I do think night one and night two are going to correlate in some way. The main events,
like last year.
Yes, it's not as explicitly spelled out.
Yes, I want to see that
now.
too. I've just been trying to figure out how it happens.
It's not as explicitly spelled out, obviously, this year like it was last year, where one match directly impacted the other. But I do think there's going to be correlation. And I'll explain it when we get there.
Okay. Well, let's take a little break so people can take a pee break and whatnot, and we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to this little promo. I have to give one. You know what it's going to be about. Yeah, just sit here and listen. You made it this far into the show. What we're going to talk about is something very important. It's social media. Why aren't you part of the Twitter page, the Instagram page, our Facebook page? Join, share. And you know what? You get in there, we'll send you a link to the Discord. What's the Discord? It's where you can talk to us all day about wrestling. Not just that. How about you go to our website, podcastchampionshipwrestling1podium.com, where you can leave a review. Not just a review, you can write into the show. You got a question, we'll answer it. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, it doesn't. We offer so much more. Do you want to be on the show? Do you want to shoot the shit with Dre, Doyle, and myself? Be a guest. I'll give you your own theme music. Yes, I will. But it doesn't stop there, guys. You gotta go to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy a PCW shirt. Oh, we don't have one. We don't have two. By God, we don't have three. But we do have four. 4 new t-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. So what the hell are you doing? You made it this far. Are you a fan or what? Are you a fucking mark? Tell them.
You fucking mark!
Time's running out.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And
All right, we're black. I had to fit it in there somewhere. What better place? All right, guys, we are going to get down into night 2, which is only 6 matches as of now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would try to squeeze in another one. Although we do have what we like to call WrestleMania SmackDown. Also, during our little break, I found out that get this, guys, the Hall of Fame. Can you guess what time the Hall of Fame starts this year?
Fucking midnight, because of SmackDown and where it's being on the West Coast. I think it's throwing off the time zones or something.
I saw at 1 a.m. it's supposed to start.
I knew it was something like that.
Dude.
Oh, that's right, because SmackDown's fucking 3 hours now.
Ain't no way I'm ever watching wrestling in the a.m. That shit don't happen. It just don't.
And you know, ticket sales must not be great because they keep saying, you can do both. Don't forget, you have plenty of time to get from one event to the other event.
At this point, the only tickets y'all selling is to people who are already in Vegas.
Yeah, like, I can't stay up that fucking late. Like,
which theoretically, if I wanted to just throw money down the fucking toilet, I could go out there this weekend because this is my 3-day weekend off from work. So pretty much I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I did put in for vacation on Monday and Tuesday just to have some time off from work. So theoretically, if I wanted to, I could just go out to fucking Vegas this weekend and just be like, fuck it. Not attend WrestleMania because I'm not paying the stupid ass fucking ticket prices. But it's Vegas.
Just
there
the
are
atmosphere.
bars.
Yeah,
just the atmosphere. Scrap, scrap up, buy a WrestleCon ticket at the last minute.
Yeah.
See if there's still some general admission tickets for Wale Mania.
Right.
And then find a good bar to go watch it at.
Yeah, dude.
I could.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna. Because I'm not paying no last minute flight price to Vegas.
Oh,
I'm not scrambling to look for no Airbnb or hotel. Although my uncle lives in Vegas, I could probably stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could do it, but I ain't gonna. Plus, I got to work Monday anyway, even though I put in time. So.
Yeah, I think I got the Good Friday off as well. I'm pretty excited just to have the 3 days off and like not having to like travel anywhere and spend a shitload of money and just nice.
Mm-hmm.
Think about last year though, like when do you think you could go to like a SmackDown and then the Hall of Fame at 1 a.m? Like if you knew that, no way, dude. And then stay awake during all those speeches.
Only attend it live, like in the stadium. I doubt it because I would be tired as fuck.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of the reason why I think they changed it up somewhat this year, because last year, remember, they kicked off the Hall of Fame ceremony with Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
and
smart.
And that's what everybody wanted to see. So as soon as Paul Heyman was done, everybody left the fucking arena. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people left the arena.
Yeah,
They had just been there for SmackDown, sat through all of that, then sat down while they did the Hall of Fame thing. Paul Heyman, by that point, it's like 11, something at night or whatever. People were like, all right, bye.
I mean, that's a lot to sit through at home on your couch, let alone being out somewhere.
I mean, like, I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to watch it, later. Because I'm going to watch it before we cover our post-show. But
especially in an arena where you actually have to sit there and pay attention. Not like at home where you can be on the internet or have some have that shit on the background. No, you're in the arena, in some little small chair.
Laundry.
Yeah. You're just sitting there. You got to go to the bathroom. You got to get up, walk all the way in the line. It's like, yeah, you're kind of stuck there. You either sit through all that shit or you leave. That's
funny. You gotta sit through it or you fucking leave. But I'm only here for one guy. But they're saving him for the main event.
I don't get why they try to make it the same night. All this stuff you got going on with WrestleMania. You telling me y'all can't do Hall of Fame on Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
And another event, another venue that you can reserve, help you lock down a city even more, sell them tickets, expand your bundle or whatever. To me, it makes sense to do it that way rather than trying to squeeze it in at the same arena, except for any other reason except you want the crowd. They want the bigger crowd of the arena from the SmackDown versus what they were doing in the past at the, hall setups, which obviously didn't have as big a crowd, which means you couldn't sell as many tickets or charge you can still charge the premium, but not sell as many tickets at that premium price like you can for an arena.
All right, let's dig into this fucking card. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champs, versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyrie. We gotta touch
this shit is on fucking WrestleMania as opposed to the WWE tag titles.
Yeah,
right.
We talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the episode. As for who I think is gonna win this, I think Liv and Raquel are gonna retain. Why in God's green earth are you gonna try to put 2 titles on Lyra? And these 2, like you said earlier, Dre, 2 enemies that are now all of a sudden in a tag team, now chasing this gold. And we know that this is a temporary team that's put together. Yeah, great way to get the Women's Intercontinental Champion on the card, but not defending the title. Good way to get Bayley on the card somehow. She was able to wiggle her way on. I kind of knew Liv and Raquel were going to be on. But, yeah, I see Liv and Raquel just retaining Dre.
I agree. Liv and Raquel are probably going to retain.
Yep.
As far as the argument of, I don't see why you would make Lyra a 2-belt champion. There's one reason I could see for it, even though this is a bit of a stretch or a bit of a reach, but there's one reason I could see for it to do it. And that is to fuel a future Bayley heel turn by making her jealous of Lyra 2 belts. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Becky was 2 belts, but wasn't Bayley a 2-belt champion at one point? Didn't she at one point hold the SmackDown Women's Championship as well as the Women's Tag Team Championship?
I did. I believe so with Sasha Banks.
With Sasha? Yeah. So if Lyra is now the 2-belt champion, but she's the one with the singles title while Bayley is, her quote-unquote sidekick, even though Bayley's clearly the bigger star, it could potentially fuel some jealousy in Bayley that could lead to a heel turn from Bayley. But that's a stretch and that's a reach, and I don't know that they're ready to revert Bayley back to being heel again already. She's only been babyface for a little over a year. And I don't think the fans are ready to boo her. I don't think her babyface run has gotten stale by any means. She's just currently not involved in anything right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're not involved in, some major compelling storyline right now, you have to turn heel. Like, there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs. She can tread water. Bayley, if anybody can tread water for a little while and be fine, it's Bayley. Especially with her selflessness and willingness to put other people over, which she's clearly doing right now. But all that being said, yeah, Liv and Raquel are going to retain.
What do you feel like, Doyle?
Yeah, I mean, I like all 4 of these ladies an awful lot. I kind of don't mind that they've made the women's tag title scene. It's kind of like it exists to cycle out main eventers, sort of, out of the world title picture. And that seems like as good a use as any for it. I mean, what they were doing with it before was pretty awful. So I think, Bianca, they cycled her out for a while, and so she was in the title scene, and now they're doing the same thing with Liv. Maybe they're going to do the same thing with Bayley, but I don't think so. I like what Liv and Raquel have going on. They kind of have like that Shawn Michaels and Diesel kind of aesthetic. I like it. I don't mind the team of Bayley and Lyra. I like them both a lot. Bayley is, of course, Bayley. And Lyra, kind of like what I said about Tiffany, I think she's going to be one of the pillars upon which the women's division is built for the next decade, or next generation, or whatever you want to call it. So I could see her getting the 2-belt treatment, but, they just did that with someone else on NXT. And I feel like I have a lot of other titles changing hands. So these ones are going to stay put, I think. So we're going to stick with Lyra and Raquel, and we're all going to agree. Yay!
Sweet deal. All right.
What does that say about this year's WrestleMania that we're in such agreement on so many matches?
Right? That's true.
Here's a one for you. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This is going to be a good high-flying match. I think we're going to get, possibly one of the spots of the night out of this fucking match.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
I'll tell you what, though. I think his pulverizer that he's been putting on AJ the past 2 weeks has looked pretty damn cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have the 2 right guys to do it. But with that said, Logan getting the last laugh at every SmackDown or whatever every interaction he's come across with AJ Styles makes me definitely believe that AJ is gonna go over here. are you really gonna have like a guy like AJ Styles put over Logan Paul? I don't think so. But I think it's gonna be a great match. I think it's gonna be a great match. So I feel like if I'm gonna get a holy shit moment out of tonight, besides the possible main event, I think this is where it's gonna happen. So, Dre, what do you feel like?
Yeah, this match continues to pose the same question that we always ask. What is the point of a part-time wrestler winning a match? Mm-hmm. Especially if that part-time wrestler is not a champion, not a super over babyface featured attraction.
Right.
In fact, he's quite the opposite of the super over babyface attraction. He's the super over heel that nobody likes at all. So is he a guy that you're going to bring in periodically, throw him in a feud, let him lose so somebody can get the pop and then put him back on the shelf so you need to bring him out again? Or are you going to actually let him get a win every now and then so that he maintains some level of credibility? I don't know that anybody gives a shit about Logan Paul enough for him to need credibility. I think he's perfectly serviceable as the guy everybody hates that you call in every now and then to have a babyface go up against, get you a good match, a good entertaining match with some cool spots, and then let the guy that everybody hates take the L. Mm-hmm. And Logan Paul could very well be perfectly fine in that role as long as he's getting paid and featured, which he is. So by that token, I kind of think AJ Styles is going to win this match.
Nice. Doyle, are you in agreement with us? Are we in another sweep here?
Yeah, I really couldn't care less about this match.
Also that.
I expect it to be entertaining and, high-flying, spot fest, fast-paced, But at the end of the day, zero stakes. I want AJ to win, mostly because I fucking hate Logan Paul. But that's a heel's job, I suppose. But I think Logan Paul probably gets more from beating AJ Styles than AJ Styles gets from beating Logan Paul. So I think Logan Paul is probably going to take it, alas.
Oh, my God.
If Logan Paul were full-time, he'd have all the reason in the world to win this match.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposedly going to be closer to full-time this year. We'll see.
Been saying that for months.
Yes, this is true. So, who knows?
I'm all in now. I'm full-time now. Yeah, okay.
He did finally wrestle on Raw.
Once. Yeah, he did.
It was terrible. It was like his first bad match. And with Rey Mysterio, of all people.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And he beat him. All right, let's move on to the Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental Championship. We have our IC champ Bron Breakker versus Penta versus Finn Bálor and versus Dominik Mysterio. Now, this could go several ways because it just makes it so interesting. Okay, so I think it'd be, which it should be, and I think Bron should just decimate these guys and basically retain, because I want to see who's next. Who's next after Bron Breakker? Who's next for Bron Breakker after this? But I feel like you gotta keep that title on him. I feel like if you put it on any of these Judgment Day members, it's more or less going to tear the group apart. But we've kind of seen that. We've kind of seen hints of it kind of unfold starting to unfold here between Finn and Dom. So either one of them winning the IC title would be great because it would kind of split, maybe put like a nice split in the Judgment Day. I mean, you're not bringing it back for the Judgment Day. Imagine if Dominik Mysterio got it, not Finn Bálor. That's the thing too. Out of the two guys, who would get it out of the Judgment Day? I think if Dom got it, that'd be fucking crazy. Because he would get it on a roll-up pin. That's how I feel like it would be a steal. As for Penta, that would be the wild card. This new wrestler to our company, coming in, and it seems very popular right now. Giving it to him is definitely the wild card in it all. But at the end of the day, I think Braun Breaker. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. There's tons of rumors of Goldberg's got to return this year. Goldberg's going to return at some point. Who's Goldberg going to face? He's brought up before. He would love to face Braun Breaker at some point. How do you get there, right? I see an awesome promo after the Raw after Mania. Braun's like, I ran through Penta, I ran through the Judgment Day, Finn Bálor and Dom, I ran through these guys, I ran through them. Whoever you put in front of me, I'm going to spear them, and I'm going to run through them. So who's next? And then maybe that's when we hear that music hit, and he gets his ass speared, and you're next, Braun. That's fantasy booking right there. At the end of the day, though, I still feel like this man needs to hold his title, and they're just going to keep pushing him. I mean, think about it. At the end of WrestleMania, having Braun Breaker as your IC champ and Jacob Fatu as your United States champ. That's two great mid-card champions right there. I mean, I can't see if two better mid-card champions walk out of WrestleMania than those two. Dre, what do you think?
If I were booking this, I would have Dominik Mysterio walk out as Intercontinental Champion by screwing over Finn Bálor.
Oh, screwing over Finn, okay.
Well, I won't say screwing over Finn Bálor in the sense that like he pins him or anything like that.
Right.
But like Finn Bálor would have the win, and Dominik would come in at the last minute, take out Finn, throw him out the ring, and steal the pin for himself and become Intercontinental Champion. Mm-hmm. That would be me if I was booking it. But I'm not booking it because WWE can't afford me. So, so the more likely, I think, part of me thinks that Braun will retain probably the title. I think he's got the momentum, but I also think he could be strong without the title. Like we've seen that already when Jey beat him for the Intercontinental title. It didn't hurt Braun's momentum at all. It was Jey that beat him, right?
Yes.
I was trying to think if it was Jey or Sammy. But I thought, because I know he had a feud with Sami Zayn for a minute, but yeah. Okay, either way. I think Braun is probably going to retain. Mm-hmm. That was some interesting fantasy booking from like possibly proposing Goldberg showing up to challenge Braun Breaker as your next. I'm not going to rule that out, but it's not going to be post WrestleMania.
Right.
Like Goldberg has pretty much already confirmed that his retirement match is going to happen this summer, which people are suspecting will probably means SummerSlam. Again, with them having to fill out 2 nights. That's the perfect spot for Goldberg's retirement match, and to help build up SummerSlam is put it on one of those nights. Could still very well be against Braun Breaker, and if that's the case, Braun Breaker doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship to have that match. So he could lose it beforehand, or he could lose it at WrestleMania, and somebody else can run with the belt for a while Braun is chasing or what have you, and then doing whatever. So, if it were me, I would have Dominik Mysterio walk out as IC champ, but I think it's probably going to be Bron retaining.
And now, episode 483 of As the Judgment Day Turns.
Yeah, Doyle, let's hear it.
I can make a case for 3 out of 4 of these guys taking this match. And the oddball out, I think, is one Mr. Bron Breakker. I think he's ready to graduate to the main event scene. So I think he has outgrown the Intercontinental Championship. This is a great way to take it off of him without him being pinned or submitted. So that leaves us with 3, right? We got Penta, who's over as fuck, and kind of a breath of fresh air into the middling mid-card scene on Raw. But he's so new. Like, has he even had 10 matches yet? I just feel like it's too much too soon for him to be IC champion. Not that he's a rookie or anything, obviously not. But I think it leaves Dom and Finn. And, I think the story's kind of the same either way, right? Jealousy within the Judgment Day. And I think there's more mileage in a Dom victory. Even if it ends up being kind of a fluke. Or yeah, like somebody said, if he ends up fucking over Finn or stealing the victory somehow, it's like, well, I got it for the Judgment Day, though, But he's like, yeah, but you got it for yourself. That could certainly be tension there. I think maybe this might be a way to spark a face turn for Dom. Maybe Ray congratulates him or something like that. But if Dom were to win the Intercontinental title, he and Ray would become the 3rd father and son to win the Intercontinental title. Can you name the other 2 fathers and sons?
IC champions?
Yes.
Rikishi and Jey Uso.
That is one.
And Kurt Hennig and whatever his son's name was.
That is also the other one. Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Was it something Hawkins? Something like that?
I don't remember. He was terrible. But he never really got a fair shake either, I don't think. Yeah. That's a whole other discussion that we do not need to derail this with.
Oh, shit. All right.
So yeah, I think Dom is going to be IC champion.
I like that idea though, too.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be like, to get, like you said, great way to get the title off of him without hurting him, having Dom take it, screwing over Finn, more furthering the destruction of the Judgment Day yet again.
I think Bron Breakker has outgrown the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I mean.
Also, it could be an interesting way to honestly possibly get Dominik Mysterio as a babyface. Because I think right now, if you were to have Dom and Finn in a feud, I think fans might. I could be reaching a bit, but I think depending on how it's booked, fans might choose to side with Dom. He does still have that natural, everybody wants to boo the shit out of him energy. But imagine a moment in the ring where, say somebody like Penta's laid out, and somehow Dom accidentally or whatever clocked Finn, laid out Finn, Penta got laid out, Braun somewhere outside the ring, and Dom has this moment where it's like, oh shit, I could pin Penta and become IC champion. I think fans might pop like hell for that. I don't think the fans would boo that moment. I think fans might. I could see fans cheering the shit out of that moment for Dom. It's like, do it. And then he gets the pin and they actually cheer him winning.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been quite the complete shitbag he used to be. He's still a shitbag, but he's not quite as big of a shitbag as he used to be.
Yeah, the nuclear heat he had in the past has kind of cooled down a bit, And especially within the Judgment Day dynamic, Finn has been more of the aggressive asshole than Dom has been.
Yeah, that's very true.
Next match.
Yeah, next match. I'm trying. I was looking at the card. I was damn it, looking at something else. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Interesting.
Oh, that's what they call it. Boy, every city gets a street fight associated with them.
Yeah,
God.
so we're going to see street signs with local streets on them, you know, used as a weapon. That's normally what we get. Some sort of food involved. Something about the local sports team, you know, something. Actually, both of these guys could benefit from a win. Either one of them. I would like to see Drew go over. But I could also care less who wins. I just want two meaty men beating the shit out of each other. These two guys look like they'll beat the shit out of each other during this match. I think I'll enjoy it. Hopefully we see some color. It'll be nice after this fatal 4-way, so it'll be nice, and it'll be a buffer right before the women's match. Yeah, I expect this to go like all over the arena. I expect tables involved. Maybe some glass that'll get in his eye. They have to wear a patch again. That was kind of funny. Seeing him wearing a eye patch this week.
Yes, Drew was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm good for this match. Like this is not a bathroom break for me. This is let's see where these guys beat the shit out of each other. Let's see what foreign objects get used, and so yeah, I think it'll be fun. Dre.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see WWE Creative start digging in their bag a little bit more for their stipulation matches or their gimmick matches instead of just picking a town and slapping it in front of Street Fight.
Yeah.
Sin City Street Fight, a Detroit Street Fight, a Broad Street Street
Motor
Fight.
City Street Fight.
Motor City Street
Yeah,
Fight.
it's never the name of the town.
Right.
It's always like
A-Town Down Street Fight.
Yeah.
Like, God damn. Come up with something else. You know what this match should have been in a big-ass football stadium? A Falls Count Anywhere match. How about that? It's still no DQ. It's still a street fight. But you're just not calling it a insert town street fight. Only street fights I acknowledge, damn it, are Chicago street fights. The old school, the OG. Because you could have a Chicago street fight in Wichita, fucking Kansas, and people knew it was going the fuck down because it was a Chicago street fight. It meant something then. They ain't have to change it and say it's a Kansas City street fight. No, it's a Chicago street fight. And if the Road Warriors was in it, whoever they was facing was getting the dog shit kicked out of them. End of that rant. So back to the match. Like I said, I think this could have been a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they could have had some fun with it while still making it an absolute hard-hitting slobber knocker of a banger match. That being said, I do think there is somebody who needs this win more than the other, and that is Damian Priest. He has maintained popularity with the fans, but he has kind of been fading a bit without the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre has managed to still stay as, hot as a heel as he's always been because of his character work and his trolling and his internet work. And I don't see any of that diminishing if he takes an L. Mm-hmm. He may just have to find a new person to focus his energy on, but he clearly can do that without any problem whatsoever. Damian Priest takes an L here at WrestleMania. Where does he go? He almost falls down the card. You could argue if he takes an L at this match, he falls down into the mid card and really has to work his way back up to be a world title contender. Or he'll be stuck in that place that, like Bobby Lashley was, a perpetual contender but never a champion again. Every time they need a tournament, oh, Damian Priest is in it. He's a former champion. He loses. Oh, number one contender match. So-and-so against Damian Priest. Damian Priest loses. So I think he actually needs the win to maintain relevance at the top in the upper echelon of the roster. And for that reason, I hope he wins. But I'm not confident he's going to. I'm going to choose Damian Priest, but I'm going to say it's 55-45.
Okay. Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Damian Priest fan. I am a huge Drew fan, so I don't know how biased I am in looking at this, but
quite a bit.
This is going to be a slobber knocker, as good old JR used to say.
Right.
There's just not a lot of meat on these bones, really. There's no stakes. There's barely a story. But I'm going to disagree with Dre here. I think Drew needs it more. I think it's a reward for carrying the feuds he carried for the past year. He kind of needs to win a feud here. He's lost he's been the loser on the losing end of the last couple storylines he's been involved in. And I don't think a loss will hurt Priest all that much. But if it does, so be it, because I'm not the biggest fan. But I mean, that might be a nice little redemption arc for him to have to work his way back up or whatever. So maybe something, I don't know. They can't all be in the title picture all the time. I would like to see Drew get back into it, actually. It's been a while for him. And like I said, I think kind of like Seth, too. Seth kind of just I think it's both of them get a reward with a WrestleMania win here for Seth was the MVP of Super Bowl. WrestleMania 40. And I think his reward is a win, and I think the same goes for Drew here for carrying that CM Punk feud like he did.
That's a valid argument. That's definitely a valid argument.
Yeah, that's true. All right. We got 2 matches left on this card. Io Sky. This is the triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky, the champion, versus Bianca Belair. Royal Rumble winner. Elimination Chamber winner. Correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And Rhea Ripley, former champion, who got screwed over and somehow wiggled her way in to this triple threat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wanted a one-on-one with Bianca and Rhea. I think a lot of us wanted it. I think we're gonna still get it this year. I think we're probably gonna get it maybe at SummerSlam or maybe sooner. I wasn't all for the triple threat. For a while, it felt like Io wasn't the biggest part of of this feud, and she's the champion. It didn't feel like she was even part of the feud, really. But I feel like these 3 are going to put on a hell of a match. It's going to be the best women's match on the card, both nights, I think. Because ain't no way Tiffany and Charlotte are going to pull off a fucking amazing match like that. I doubt
I ain't fans of either one of them, but in the ring, those 2 can cook. I ain't going to...
I think both of these matches are going to be incredible.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I might not give a shit about the Tiffany Charlotte match, but that match is going to fucking bang.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So, you guys think, quality-wise, you think that there's a possibility that this could not be the best women's match on the card?
Oh, no, this will still be the best. This will still be the best match.
Okay.
But I'm not saying, I just don't think it's going to be like the best match by a long shot.
Right. Okay.
And if somehow Tiffany and Charlotte could cook well enough, I wouldn't be surprised if they outshone the triple threat match.
Right.
If Tiffany and Charlotte can outshine the triple threat match.
With that said, I think Bianca and Rhea can benefit from not winning a title. I feel like they're the only ones who could leave this feud and be fine if they didn't win. I feel like Io Sky has more to prove because she received the title so quickly. For her to basically be the transitional champion in this, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like that's not the route they should go. I feel like Io should retain. I feel like she's kind of backed in the corner now, being a triple threat, and the fresh champion, and immediately having to, put the title on the line at WrestleMania. It's like, congrats, you won the title. Oh, guess what? You have a Royal Rumble winner, nipping at your heels already, But then again, Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania.
She is not.
She's not?
No.
She's undefeated in singles matches.
Yeah. She was in a battle royal in WrestleMania 34, and she wasn't the winner of it.
This fuck.
Now, granted, she was in NXT, so maybe you can say on the main roster, undefeated at WrestleMania.
Okay, you deserve this, Doyle.
Okay, but if you didn't,
but she's only 4-0. It's not like she's 8-0 or 10-0.
Sure. I mean,
and they didn't even mention it on television.
Start somewhere.
She just mentioned it the other day, last night.
Well, I think the internet
picked
up. The internet picked up on it, I think, before the commentators did, because it's been a point of discussion for a while. The fact that she's undefeated, ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't, you cannot
undefeated.
win, but also not lose at the same time. I mean, or not be defeated. She didn't win the match, but she wasn't the one who got pinned or in that. What was that? Was it a Royal Rumble type match that it was?
It was a battle royal.
Battle Royal. So she wasn't defeated, but she didn't win it. I mean, there's some mental gymnastics involved in that, but
I mean, she's never been defeated.
Right. So just because she didn't win the match,
I love this
she
mental gymnastics.
I know.
Well, whatever. That's
yeah.
It is,
well, I mean,
let's say singles competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's.
Did Undertaker ever have a tag team match at WrestleMania?
It's not a thing yet. It's too early for it to be a thing.
Oh, okay. By women's standards, I guess it could be a thing. Because is there any other woman that's had any kind of streak?
I think Sasha.
I don't know, because it doesn't become a thing until it's been 8 years.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Oh yeah, it never became a thing for Undertaker until 10.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah, well, I mean, if they want to acknowledge something like a streak like this early, this will be 5-0, right? That's somewhere to start. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I also think of this. What if Bianca doesn't get it? And then this is slowly this is where she turns heel. She's just frustrated. Now we got a frustrated, pissed. She's already frustrated and pissed off because Rhea wiggled her way into this fucking match, And I totally get it. It's you were promised a one-on-one not a main event, but a one-on-one title match at WrestleMania. And here this bitter former champion who just lost the night prior, is wiggling their rematch clause and kind of turning this into a triple threat now. So yeah, I see the frustration.
Really wiggle her. That's the thing though. She didn't even wiggle her rematch clause or anything. She just literally just privileged her way into this.
Yeah, she just kept showing up and headbutting people.
Just showed up and just put her name on the contract.
Sign that?
Nah.
It's official. You can't erase it. It's in ink. Yeah. So
she's privileged, but nobody's acknowledging it because everybody loves Rhea.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I think us heading to a heel Bianca would be fucking fantastic. I just see a frustrated Bianca. That's where it leads to. I don't see Rhea regaining the title anytime soon. She doesn't need it right now. Like I said, I feel like Io has everything against her, being such a fresh champion. I'd rather see Rhea and Bianca continue the feud without a title involved. They don't need one. But, yeah, Io for me, retaining Dre.
I think out of all the matches on this year's WrestleMania, this is probably the one that, A, I have the most emotional investment in,
right,
and B, the one that I actually give a shit about the most.
Okay.
Realistically. This is probably the most multi-layered match, well, arguably one of the most multi-layered matches on the whole card. Is from a storyline standpoint, not necessarily from a history or, connect the dots 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing, but just from a story standpoint, from like how you laid it out. Bianca earned her title shot by winning the Elimination Chamber match and beating a bunch of other women. We thought we were going to get Rhea versus Bianca 1-on-1. That was the money match, the hype match, the one that everybody wanted. But then they pulled the rug out from under us and had Io win in a surprise victory, which she won legit, fair and square. There were no shenanigans involved. There wasn't any of that. Like, Io just beat her. Rhea cost herself the match. She got distracted, but then used that very thing as an excuse to complain that I would have won if so-and-so hadn't been at ringside. Like, when the fuck has that ever been a valid excuse? People be at ringside for shit all the damn time, and y'all win and lose and don't complain. Like, so-and-so was sitting in the chair over there. If it wasn't for that, motherfucker, that's on you. Ain't nobody tell you to get distracted or get overly confident and start, talking shit before you secured the win. And yet, because of that, though, she forces her way back in, and by all intents and purposes is acting like a heel to get back in this match. But because it's Rhea Ripley and everybody is blindly in love with her right now, her heelish antics are seen as baby. She's getting cheered for it. Right. And still being treated like a babyface. Whereas if Bianca were doing the exact same thing, if Bianca had been the champion and had lost to Io because Rhea was at ringside, and then came out there complaining that I would still be champion if Rhea hadn't been at ringside, and forced her name on a contract, they would be booing Bianca out the fucking building. Booing her out of the building. She wouldn't be able to talk on the mic. They would be booing her off the mic. But because Rhea's doing it, yeah, cheering her like it's nobody's business. And then while all this is happening, as you said, Io's in the background. Io's being played, playing in her face, basically. Not even acknowledging her. Rhea and Bianca still carrying on with they beef like it's a 1v1. Disrespecting Io to her face. And even within the context of that, mushing the hell out of Io multiple times. I'm pretty sure Rhea has mushed Io more than Bianca has. But I'm kind of in the same boat with you, as whereas before I wanted Bianca to win, and when they were going to make it initially a triple threat, I wanted Bianca to win.
Right.
But because they keep playing in Io's face and keep disrespecting Io, I kind of want Io to win now. Mm-hmm. Just because they keep playing with her and they keep disrespecting her, and she need to put both of these two in their place. And as much as I hate to say that about Bianca, and then everybody wants Bianca to be heel now. Everybody wants Bianca to be heel. Even getting, heel boos undeservedly. Like, she has the most valid argument in the world against Rhea. But again, because the fans love Rhea, they're siding with her and booing and going against Bianca. So you know what? That's how y'all want to act? Fuck it. Let Bianca go heel. I want Bianca to go heel and just start beating the dog shit out of the women's roster. Just like, oh, this what y'all want? This what y'all gonna get. And she's just out there just beating the shit out of people. I'm like beating them down like they on the block, beating them down like they owe her money. Be that kind of heel. If this the heel what y'all wanted, this what y'all gonna get. That's what I want to see at this point now. Let EO get the win. I don't see Bianca being some sort of complaining heel or anything like that. I want her to be a heel like Drew McIntyre is. Valid points across the board. Justified across the board. Like she would be the most justified. This would probably be one of the most justified heel turns probably since Drew McIntyre. Because you couldn't tell her that she's actually wrong about anything. And she should call the fans out on it. Mm-hmm. Tell the fans directly to their face. Everything she's doing is wrong, but y'all just love Rhea, so y'all gonna cheer it. Put it directly in their face and then make them eat their words as she dog walks the whole women's roster on her way to eventually defeating EO and becoming the champion again. That's where I'm at with it at this point. And I'm going to ride with Bianca all the way. So, yeah, I'm picking EO in this match to win, but I'm still riding with B.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of all three of these ladies. I think it's going to be a fucking awesome match. We already covered that. But, I mean, this one, I just went to the kiss method again. I think Bianca and Rhea cancel each other out, and that leaves you with EO. It reminds me a lot of the main event of WrestleMania 20, which was Mr. Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Mr. Christopher Benoit. And it was basically a similar story. HBK and Trips spent the whole match fighting each other, completely forgetting about poor Benoit over there. And what happened? Benoit won. The difference is EO, of course, is the champion going in, but she's still playing the same role, more or less. And I think that Rhea and Bianca are going to spend so much time up each other's ass that they're going to forget all about EO, and she's going to end up retaining. We've been kind of wanting a Bianca heel turn for, I feel like,
for a while,
a year at least. So if be it in this match or maybe as a direct result of this match, that ends up happening, I'd be all for it. I'm going to cheer for her regardless of what she does. Yeah, I mean, frankly, similar to what I said about Seth Rollins earlier, I think she could use a fresh coat of paint. I don't want to say stale, but it's been the same exact act for a while now, and
it's just
maybe a good chance to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said since she's been on the main roster, she's basically been the same character.
Yeah, so maybe a good chance to switch it up finally.
Yeah, and they need to not do to her what they did with Cena and keep her locked into this perpetual babyface role, regardless of how over she is with the kids, because obviously the kids still love Bianca and shit. Like I just saw a video. I just saw a video today of some little 8-year-old girl who's like a world record weightlifter or powerlifter or something like that, and she was on the Jennifer Hudson show talking about how who's her idol. It was Bianca, and what did Bianca do? Record a video for her, and it was beautiful and it was sweet. So, that would be the only hesitation. Would be would WWE be willing to give that up for a Bianca heel turn? Because it's not like in the past where somebody could be a heel and still do this stuff without it being known. All that stuff gets publicized and broadcast all the time. So she can't be the heel on TV and still doing that kind of stuff. I mean, theoretically she still could, but it'd be somewhat contradictory-ish. For at least given how she is in her position. As like we've said, that Cena type women's character. I could see them being hesitant or reluctant to do that. I could see Bianca being reluctant to do it, but I think it's the move that for her at this point. I think it's probably finally the time where the cards are lined up, the stars are aligned for her to make that heel turn. And like I said before, be completely justified in it.
Yeah, it's not like she has to be healed for the rest of forever. She can go back to being a babyface. You know?
Yep. Soon as the fans are ready to cheer her again, they can flip that switch in a heartbeat. But for now, let her dog walk that whole fucking women's roster. Because I think Bianca could be an amazing heel if they do her right. Like I said, don't make her the whiny, complaining heel. Don't do that because that's going to weaken her.
Right.
Just make her that dominant beast.
Boss.
Beating.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, just beating bitches up.
Nah, dude. Triple B. Beating bitches badly. Just
that's all she got to do.
Right?
Just like how Triple H was in the Attitude Era. Like, woman could be giving an interview backstage. Boom, Bianca just come out of nowhere and just beat the shit out of her. Not saying that needs to be the whole gimmick, but I mean, she needs to have that type of energy.
Right.
Like anybody could get it on site.
I agree. I like it. Well,
Yeah,
like I said, we'll see. Maybe the frustration will just push her to the fucking edge. You know, of not getting that title, people getting in her way. You know, that's what it is people are getting in her fucking way. You know, she's losing, her group, her clique is already falling apart. Jade and Naomi got a fucking match against each other for Pete's sake.
Somebody asked a question. What'd you think about the thing? Well, I think Bianca, yada, yada, yada. Later on that night, they laid out, Bianca, keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah. So
anybody even mention her name, ass whooped.
all right, let's move on to the main event here, night 2, the last match on the card. All right, we got Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, versus the 16-time John Cena. This is big. This is very big. Last year at WrestleMania, if you guys would have asked me who do I see Cody facing at WrestleMania the year next, I would have been like, maybe The Rock. You know? That's who I kind of thought maybe.
Well, that's they groomed us all to think last year.
Yeah, that's what they wanted you to think.
Didn't they, though? You're right, dude. I was groomed like a motherfucker thinking
Yeah,
that.
we all remember that
What is that?
awkward
What
ass
did you
post
hand him?
WrestleMania promo between those two.
Yeah, what did you hand him, Rock? We still don't know. It's been a year. I want to know what you handed him in Philadelphia. I was there, man. Call me fucking white trash. What do you call us? Trailer park trash or some shit? The Rock
Something like
insulting
that.
us was great.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Rock. I was insulted by you. Yeah, dude, I want more than anything than John Cena to walk out with this title. Granted, this would be a huge win for Cody, but I think with Cena on his way out, I think we discussed this before. If Cody's gonna lose to anybody with the momentum he's had since winning that title, losing to John Cena is not a bad way to go for your first title loss. I rather drop it to somebody like Cena than somebody lesser. I mean, what a hell of a place to do it. What a hell of a reason for him to be a 17-time world champion. We discussed kind of like where does Cena go after this. Backlash is right around the corner. There's rumors of people saying like, who would you love Orton to face? Would you rather see Orton face Cody Rhodes at Backlash or John Cena? And we discussed also the possibility of CM Punk and Cena going at it one more time over the summer. But it's not going to be interesting with Cena unless you put the title on him. Because then you're going to have more hungry dogs after him. You're going to have more people after him, chasing him. Not just for the retirement matches, not just for the, I want to get a match in there with John Cena. It's going to be, I want to take that title off of John Cena. Like, I just feel like there's going to be so much more for the chase. It's going to make the rest of the year be so cool. And then, like, you know, who does he drop it to? If that's the case as well. But Cody, I feel like now has enough star power that he'd be fine without the title. This man doesn't need to hold on to this title no more. I think he'd be okay. Yeah, I just don't need to see Cody win it. I'm done with Cody, man. I want to see heel fucking Cena win it. I want to see this go farther. I want this to be fucking Cena's year, man. Dre, what do you think, man? I know
Cody
we're all
Rhodes
sighing. Go ahead, say it.
Cody Rhodes is going to defeat John Cena.
Whoa, hey there, pal. Hey, Copernicus. Hey.
But not at WrestleMania.
Right.
Got us.
He brought us back. Thank God, Doyle. Okay.
Yeah. I think John Cena is going to walk out as champion. As I mentioned earlier, I said that the main event of these two nights are going to be connected in some way. I believe the connective tissue is going to be Paul Heyman. As I said before, Paul Heyman is going to walk out of night one rejecting Roman Reigns, not siding with CM Punk. And the reason for that is because I believe Paul Heyman is going to side with John Cena in night two.
Oh my God, Paul Heyman being the third man? Who would have thought? That's crazy.
My reasoning for this is because John Cena will be champion. He is still, however, going to be part-time. And even with him as champion and as part-time, you are still going to need a mouthpiece to represent that champion. And that mouthpiece will be Paul Heyman. Potentially, this is just a little nugget, but potentially at the behest of The Rock. I'm not saying The Rock's going to show up at WrestleMania or be at it, but I believe behind the scenes, The Rock will be the one playing a role in this. And at some point, they're going to have to factor him back into this in some way, shape, or form. And I think The Rock is going to be the one who gets Paul Heyman to go with John Cena and be his, wise man, counselor, representative, whatever. But he's going to be the mouthpiece for John Cena in John Cena's absence while he's still doing all his other obligations or whatever, being away from television, even though he's the champion. And that also will be how you can get some of these other matches that we want to see, like how do we get Punk versus Cena again without it just being a thrown together match of, oh, let's have these two wrestle each other again for the final time. Well, if Paul Heyman has now turned on Punk or abandoned Punk, well, now Punk has extra motivation to get back at Paul Heyman. And through that, how does he get back at Paul Heyman? By taking the title off of his new guy, John Cena. And that's how we get Cena versus Punk again. And how do you carry that feud the way through? It'll be between Punk and Paul Heyman will be the energy behind a feud like that. With Cena obviously popping in to defend the title and probably defeat Punk, but also, as he needs to, whatever. So that's where I'm at with it. And like I said, all throughout the summer, Cena will obviously pop in as needed, will make his appearances as required to remain relevant, but the majority of the work will be done by Paul Heyman as his representative. And then eventually, maybe SummerSlam or maybe somewhere time after, Cody will get his rematch against John Cena and will defeat him and regain the title. But for now, at WrestleMania, John Cena is walking out as champion with Paul Heyman at his side.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Doyle,
I had not considered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, even though this is billed as a one-on-one match, it most assuredly will not be, right? I think we can all agree on that. I can't fathom that The Rock won't be involved with this somehow, right? What about Travis Scott? There's a lot of Stone Cold rumors. Is there a third man for
like the Avengers Endgame's portal scene last year, right?
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I want to know, how is this going to be different than what we got last year? We can't just be a rerun of that, right?
No, it definitely, like, last year was definitely WWE's Endgame moment. Like,
Yes,
they can't
exactly.
they can't redo that again.
I wrote down if 40 was Endgame, I think 41 is going to be Empire Strikes Back. Because I think we're getting unhappy endings both nights here. Send him home unhappy both nights. If Cena doesn't do some despicable heel shit to beat Cody Rhodes for the title, what is the point of turning him heel? Right? And you've only got 8 more months with Cena after this. Right? So you need to, he's going to make a title run. He's going to lose the title. He's going to turn babyface again. And 8 months seems like a lot of time, but it really isn't. And plus, Cody is a better chaser anyway than he is a champion. So give him the summer to chase. Yeah, he probably wins it back at SummerSlam or something, and that's fine. It's done what it needed to do, I think. Is there a world where Cody wins and then Cena finally wins at Backlash? Yeah, maybe. But that kind of feels like it should be bigger than Backlash, right? So I don't think this is going to be a 5-star classic. I feel like I've said that a couple times. But it should be fun to see how it plays out, I think. Because something, again, like I said about the 3-way, something monumental has to happen. And Dre, your fucking idea certainly, I think that would certainly be the swerve of the century.
Yeah, that is definitely
the young century so far. So yeah, that's a cool idea. We'll see if it happens. But it should be a fun match regardless. It feels like night 1 is more about good matches and night 2 is more about storyline stuff. Is more sports entertainment, if you will. It's kind of funny how the cards shook out. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not or what. But there'll certainly be some mishigash in this match for sure, I think.
Well, there you have it, guys. I mean, seems like a pretty long fucking weekend we have. We still have SmackDown, and we still have the Hall of Fame. Has anybody?
Don't forget about the roast of WrestleMania.
Yeah, that thing.
They're not even televising that, I don't think.
And on the subject of the Hall of Fame,
I'm not going to watch it anyway.
Yeah. On this brief subject of the Hall of Fame, I am disappointed that Sting is not going to be inducting Lex Luger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really should have been Sting. I don't give a shit about the whole he works for AEW, this, that, and the third.
I know.
I mean, granted, yes, DDP is very much qualified, and Luger did say, I either wanted Sting or DDP, or he said he wanted both.
Both.
Yeah, but man, it really should have been Sting.
Have you guys got around to seeing on Peacock Becoming a Spectacle just dropped?
Oh, did that finally come out?
I never before seen.
Oh, is that the 9?
The WrestleMania 9.
WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, I got a chance. I got a chance to watch it yesterday, or the day before. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. If only we get more behind the scenes stuff like this, it makes me wonder what else is like sitting somewhere on a shelf of but it's so cool, like all the footage and stuff.
I will watch that tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. It's an hour and 49 minutes long, but yeah, it's pretty cool. You get to see a lot of wrestlers, out of character, and to see like a lot of those wrestlers from that time period, just out of kayfabe is so unusual. We're not used to that. So,
Have you guys seen that move? This one of what are the shows under NXT?
LFG.
Yeah, did you see
That-
the move? This
Slam that one chick is doing.
Jesus Christ!
Like the
Yes.
carrier, like she's. Hard to describe. It's like she has her like an underhook and then lifts her up, and it's almost like she rolls her across, turns, and fucking slams the shit out of her.
Yeah, I just saw some videos of it. You guys just mentioned that.
Crazy.
Also, I saw a post from Chelsea Green 4 years ago today. She got fired from WWE. It's like, I thought that was pretty funny because, like, you know, like, look where she is now. Oh, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of. I was scrolling through my social media. You know who else doesn't have a fucking match at WrestleMania? Sheamus.
You just had to remind him.
Yeah, right. Talk about a guy who.
I could see him as a candidate for Randy. That would be fun.
Yeah, see, there you go. What else would be funny, right? Say like Randy is Orton's like, you know, like I'll face anybody who's back there who wants to have a match. Let's go, anybody. And then, you know, Sheamus comes out, right? And then all of a sudden, Aleister Black comes out. And then all of a sudden, Rusev comes out. And now all of a sudden, it's a fatal 4-way. No, I'm kidding. But that'd be funny as shit. Just like get all these returns at once. I'm tired. This has been a long episode.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what our post episode is going to be like? This whole week.
Depends on the show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's true.
This could be one of these WWE. This could be one of those WrestleManias where the build-up wasn't all that great, but the show itself turns out to be phenomenal.
Yeah, like 31 was like that, I think.
Yeah, 17 was like that. Honestly, the build-up to 17 really wasn't all that major, other than the hype, just the sheer hype of Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah.
And the videos themselves were spectacular, but
yeah, I know.
We shall see.
We just have had so much wrestling this week. I actually stayed up all for Raw this week. I was very surprised I was able to stay up. You know what's funny is like I'm having people over this weekend for WrestleMania, and if the weather is nice, we're going to have it outside. I'm gonna have the fire pit going. We're gonna have the projector screen up. And I'm just like, man, I'm gonna like cut loose. I'm gonna like maybe drink. You know, I'm gonna smoke it up. But it's like I gotta also take notes. It's like show notes. It's like I always forget that shit, and then you know I end up like having to rewatch the pay-per-view again before we do our post show. I think last year, even though we were there, I had to like watch it when I got home before we even did our post show. Because I was like, well, I missed this because I was in the fucking bathroom, or I missed this because I was waiting for 20 minutes to get a fucking $15 cup. So, yeah, pretty much. But, Dre, do you want to plug anything before we go?
nothing in particular. Y'all know what the deal is. Instagram.com/PCW podcast.
Goddamn right. Doyle.
Yeah, I'm just in the Discord, and if you're on Facebook, like the Facebook page. It's PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. I think that's what it comes up under. So give it a like, please.
Yes, and you can also find us on the Facebook page. With that said, I'll play us out.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Well, guess who? Yes, it's me, once again, IRS. And today's subject, well, what else? Taxes. Because nothing in this world compares to the power of taxes, not even death. Because as I have demonstrated the past few weeks, everyone, and I mean everyone, sooner or later has to pay their taxes. So here is my final graveside tax tip. Since everyone is just dying to get in here, I was contemplating on investigating every last tax cheat in this place. However, those investigations are going to have to wait due to the fact
that I have something much bigger to audit. And that's you, Undertaker. So be forewarned that you're under investigation by me, IRS. And when I'm through with you, it will be you that will be resting in peace.
You are the world's dumbest son of a bitch.
The fact that day in and day out, for almost 6 years, I have proved to everybody in the world that I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary. Nobody can touch me.
You are not ready for Oscar!
Because the Street Profits are up and we want the smoke. You're next! Talk about your songs, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass. Well, let me tell you something, brother. New day!
Cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Madness here.
Welcome to the Kevin Owens Show.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome. Those rotten bastards.
Bye-bye, bitch.